Oh dear, my small business owning friend, you never grew good business with
got to do some quick stuff. Usually, what I try to do is try to set up all my stuff, but sometimes you just can't. All right. Jerome brought my curtain. So here's the thing. Hold on. Let me sort this out. Let me sort this out. I actually have to. Ow. Listen, I show you guys everything because I try to be as honest as I can. I try to be as honest as I can. Okay? Is it embarrassing? Yes. Do I care? Yeah, like I care about my appearance and, you know, things like that, but only so much you can do. You know what I mean? There's only so much. Also, I think the volume on my mic is way too high. I'm just gonna put it down a little bit. I don't want it to... I think it's fine. We usually like to put it really, really close. Oh, the glass is fake. The glasses are blue light. If I'm in front of my screen all day, it's just easier to have something to, you know, essentially just not unalive me every single time I use it. This is Pooh, this is Dookie. Did the stream just start? 1 milli. Sig ain't no one becoming an Orthodox Christian in 2026, just accept Islam. Sure. All right, let me get the StreamYard up. All of my stuff is usually done before stream, but I have a bunch of things that I want to talk about first because chat, yeah, we've been going flames on Twitter. We've been going flames on X. And the reason we've been going flames on X is basically because there are some of us that basically there are some of us that think that like we're God's gift to the earth. And because we think that we're God's gift to the earth, they think that this is how we're supposed to respond. Join if... Oh, let me do this. Join if you disagree. And there you go. I'm just going to pin this to the top of the chat. Boom. Okay. So, I'm just going to stop that. Enter studio. I've also put a StreamYard link in the description. So, any single person that wants to come up and talk, you can. As well on YouTube, and we'll alternate between YouTube and TikTok. So let's get these numbers in. Let's get the additions. Okay, I'm gonna make a couple things. I'm gonna say a couple things first, because I need to address all of these things first. Then we're gonna go into the main part of today's stream. Okay, as you can see, there are no sounds on stream, and the reason why there are no sounds on stream is actually because I have managed to... Oh, don't want to break my watch. I have managed to basically royally screw up on sound. I have managed to royally mess up on sound. So one of the sounds that we've been utilizing recently, and that's because of the clips that have been going viral, is the trumpets getting louder. And I wanted to add the trumpets getting louder to stream because I just think the trumpets getting louder would just be funny, and I think that it would be a great thing to have. But there are people in the Discord that are basically telling me that, you know, like if you have this sound is basically, yeah, basically we tried to get that sound, but it's copyright. I don't know why I'm waffling. It's just copyright. Like it's just copyright. So we wanted to make our own so that we could have it. Soundboard is... Wait, let me hear. Whoa! Okay, yeah, soundboard is loud today. Hold on, let me try that again. All right, that's fine. Audio is low, but the soundboard is what it's supposed to... No, the soundboard is supposed to be that. I think if I put my volume... up just a little bit. Can't you play for 30 seconds? I could, but the problem is we're going to be using it all the time. So if we use it all the time, like any single time there's an issue or a controversy, then we want to be able to use it as frequently as humanly possible. And because we want to use it as frequently as, you know, humanly possible, then that literally just means that we're going to try our best to, you know, do that as well. So it's just a bit difficult. It is literally just it's a difficulty and it's a nightmare. It's okay, but okay, and this is the problem. we lost the Wesh music in doing that. Because we were trying to replace it, we lost the Wesh music. So all the music that we were using for the Wesh, we've lost that sound. We lost that music. So I'm sorry, we've actually lost the actual music that we were supposed to have. So I want to formally, properly apologize to you guys. So please forgive me for losing all of those kinds of things, for, getting rid of it or whatever and everything else. I'm sorry that I was so stupid, okay, so cross, that we lost the actual music that we were supposed to have. Yes, I know. The Wesh era will never be forgotten, but if I can find it, I'll find it. And if you want to help us in terms of the production of the content, then all you need to do is head over to patreon.com/SIIIG1. Or you can head over to Discord and talk to us on Discord. So, yes, essentially my apologies. Okay? I'm very, very sorry that I've lost this. Okay? I'm very, very sorry that I've lost this. So forgive me. Okay? Mic hella strong. Yeah, we have to make we have to make the mic loud. If we don't make the mic loud, it never works. Plus, you have guests that come in. They think that they can farm people's aura, this, that, and the third. You have to let them know. Gotta let them know you're there. You gotta let them know you're there. All right? So, this is what we've gotten now. I just wanted to do those prelim things first. The second prelim thing that I want to show you guys is, and there's not going to be any sound or music to this, okay? What is that? Is basically what's been going on Discord. So I've been having a back and forth with some guy on X, and it's been embarrassing for this guy. Basically, go and follow me on Twitter, bro. Go and follow me on Twitter. We've reduced this guy to essentially not being able to respond to any long-form posts. He doesn't respond to any long-form tweets. He doesn't respond to any long-form posts. Now he's trying to bait someone into a completely different conversation line. And because he's trying to bait people into the conversation line, literally everyone's noticing the fact that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, this guy's a Muslim and he's trying to quote Augustine in Latin. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? This is the Wesh that we're talking about. Like, when we say Wesh, we mean this. Like, this is exactly what we're meaning. Okay? Anyways, what the heck? I don't know how to do this. All right. Let's start with some of the guests that we have. We'll start with some of the guests on the... I want to see who we have on the StreamYard. And then from StreamYard, we'll make our way to YouTube. Whoa! We've got a bunch of people. I'm just going to remove people. Okay, guest. Thank you. Okay, we got Angelo. And then we have Abdulaziz and Dead River. Okay, we'll start with YouTube. Then we'll go to TikTok and we'll alternate. All right? Let's start with Abdulaziz.
Hello, can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you. You're muffled.
That's kind of, I'm sorry, that's just in my microphone. But I had a quick question.
Okay.
So, assuming you're Orthodox,
Yeah.
this is a quick question. When you guys use like EED or whatever, assuming you guys don't hold to like God being identical with his attributes, is this so?
I try to.
Okay. So when you guys say like Christ, the two natures of Christ, right? Would you say that Christ's natures are identical with him, or in like what way?
I think his divine nature is identical to the being of his person. So yeah.
What about the human nature?
I think he possesses the human nature.
Okay, so he possesses the human nature, but he is not identical with human nature.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing, when speaking on the Trinity, would you hold to like a relative identity stance, or like?
I think people use relative identity all the time.
Yeah, but and so like I'm talking about what you hold to.
I don't necessarily I don't necessarily commit to a model other than the monarchy of the Father, because I don't think it's useful for conversations. I think people use them to escape one objection and then they will drop it and then pick something up. So I don't think it actually matters. Like, whether or not I hold to relative identity doesn't change anything, I don't think.
Okay, so because I'm just here like ask questions. What
Okay.
and in what way are like the persons distinct?
I think they're distinct by their divine procession.
Okay, divine procession.
Yeah.
All right. If this is, I think this is like someone brought this up to me, and I'm just like unsure. But so
What are you
it essentially
exactly?
goes. So I'm an agnostic, but I do hold to the position of the Christian belief system, leaning towards Catholicism. I'm just here to ask questions about other belief systems. Like,
Okay.
unsure about the Orthodox
Well,
philosophy.
here's
That's
the
why.
thing. So my thing is on Christianity is true, changed my mind, and Jesus being God. Do you agree that Jesus is God? Or do you at
I
least
think
hold to that
there's
belief?
I think there's enough sufficient evidence for him to be God. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think this is the platform for you today.
All right. All right. Well, that's all right, man. Thank you for having me up. God
Thank
bless.
you so much for your time. I really appreciated your time, man. I don't know why he called himself Abdulaziz. That also threw me as well. He said he's an agnostic Christian. I think you should probably work that out first, and then afterwards he'll finished. Anyways, all right. Let's see. Um, we got some other person. Okay, Angela, what's up?
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Oh my god. Okay. So, first off, how are you?
I'm okay. What are you? What do you believe in?
I'm atheist.
You're an atheist. Why are you an atheist?
But can I
I
ask you first?
Well, you have
Because
to
I have a
change my
question.
mind. You have to change my mind. But yeah, go ahead.
Uh, why, why, why did God, when there was Adam and Eve, what did He prohibit them to eat from the fruit of knowledge if they did not have knowledge? Like, how would they have know how would they have knew that it was bad? It's like they didn't have knowledge of good and evil. So why would they think it's bad to eat it? How would they know?
So the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is one thing. That doesn't mean that they don't have any sort of moral knowledge whatsoever, because it's not necessarily a universal claim on all kinds of goodness or evil. The whole point of the tree is just simply the choice for them to want to be God or not. So, as an
Right,
Orthodox
but
Christian, I think that that's simply the choice for them to be able to become God by their own nature, rather than allowing God to be able to work within their lives.
yeah, I think I understand. But the thing is, they didn't want to be God because they wouldn't think that God is good. They wouldn't know anything. They wouldn't think that eating the apple was bad. They wouldn't know that trying to be God was bad.
No, they still have like moral character. They still have moral characteristics. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is referring to the fact that you can weaponize that knowledge and bend it to your own ways. So when they were able to take the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they were essentially telling God, "Hey, I want to make my own morality and I want to do what I want."
So you think they had morality before,
I think they
like
had a sense of
when
morality,
God
yes,
created
but
them?
the knowledge of good and evil was the ability for them to manipulate it however they see fit.
Can you show me where it says that more specifically?
I can show you where like fathers of the church take that particular idea, and the reason they take that idea is because they want to be like God, God being the arbiter of moral commands and things of that nature.
Right, right.
So,
Okay, well, that makes sense. That really makes sense. I really like that response.
thanks.
And
It's not a good one, but yeah, thanks for liking it, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, I like it. Well,
Okay.
you can take a compliment, but
Yeah, I can't take compliments because I have an ego problem, so I'm trying to deal with that.
yeah, I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
So one more question, because I saw this brought up. I was watching the Orthodox Muslim, and he was like debating needgod.net,
Oh,
and he
okay.
was like, and he said the Orthodox Muslim said that the suffering servant in Isaiah 53, I believe, is not actually Jesus.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
So there's two things there. Number one, when people talk about the suffering servant, one of the things that people need to establish is whether or not it's the Messiah. So the reason why Christians say that the suffering servant is Jesus is because they connect the suffering servant with the Messiah. So when Libiano says that, he is trying to divorce the suffering servant from being about the Messiah and making a general claim about it being about Jesus specifically. But if NGN can show that the suffering servant is about the Messiah and the only person that can be the Messiah is Jesus, then obviously the suffering servant would be about Jesus, right?
Yeah, But
So what people first of all do is they look at all the suffering servant passages and wonder whether they are messianic. So Isaiah 48, Isaiah 53, and all those kinds of passages, they will look at them and they'll say, okay, is this messianic in nature? You'll go back and forth, debate. You'll have some Jews that they will say yes, some Jews will say no. Like you get the whole shebang. And Christians will give their reasons as to why this is the case, why it's not the case, blah, 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 blah. And you'll basically reach the conclusion that, okay, yes, it has to be the case that this is the Messiah. Now, you have other Jews, for example, like certain Targums that will refer to, like Targum Yonatan, that will refer to the Messiah. You have certain Midrashim that will refer to an interpretation of Isaiah 53 as being about the Messiah. So even their Jewish codified texts accept that there is a case for this being the Messiah.
okay,
Yeah.
so like I believe that you by that case you mean basically saying that look, he is without blame before us and all that, right?
So the point is, if this is referring to the Messiah, then we need to look at who is the Messiah. If the Messiah is Jesus, then it has to be about Jesus. That's pretty much it. The same way that...
Yeah,
Yeah, go on.
I was trying to say that it's like what Libiano said. It's about Israel, right? And that's what most I believe.
So there
Jews
are
believe.
rabbis that interpret that as about Israel because they believe the Gentiles are the ones speaking there, who's believed the report, blah, 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 and then it's the nation of Israel that's sort of encapsulated. But that doesn't remove it from being messianic. Now, one of the things that people look for is where it says that he is wounded for our transgression. So either the entire nation of Israel is being wounded for the transgressions of the Gentiles, or it is someone within Israel suffering for the sins of everyone in Israel, and possibly even the Gentiles too.
Okay, I understand. Makes sense, bro.
All right.
But I don't have any more questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Jerome.
Okay.
Yeah. Have a
Thank you
good
so
day,
much.
bro.
Thank you so much, man. Take care, okay?
Bye bye. You too, bro.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, so here is a thing that we also have. What the heck? Okay. I don't know if this is TikTok chat showing up? I don't know. I don't know if TikTok chat is showing up, but we'll see. I get so many people that are atheists, which is nice. I like atheist people. I don't talk to them though on stream. I don't know why. I don't feel this urge to. All right, let me read the super chat. Bro, just use miracles like Fatima, Lourdes, Guadalupe, Eucharistic miracles. I'm not Catholic, so I don't believe in certain Eucharistic miracles to prove Christianity. Yeah, people have used the argument for miracles all the time. Argument for miracles, all those kinds of things. So I think people can use it. I just think that you can also use other things. Okay, let's move to TikTok. I'm just going to look at TikTok quickly, and then I'm going to go back to YouTube, just see who's on what application, who's on what app, those kinds of things. Let us see. Oh, okay. We have RSB Yahya. We'll start with you. RSB Yahya, hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes. I think Jesus is not God because he's composite and composite things are caused. And he has two distinct natures. One of them is composite itself, the human nature, unless you think the human nature is simple. But yeah, Jesus is composite. Composite things are caused, therefore he's not God. Or God is not caused, therefore he's not God.
Okay. I just want to get a sense of who you are to see if this is universal or is this a ubiquitous standard. What religion are you?
I'm Muslim.
You're a
Shia
Muslim? You're a Shia
Yeah.
Muslim. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. No, I can completely and definitely see why. I don't think that's going to change my mind, though, because there are people that will take the position that the person is composite, like John of Damascus. He will say that the person
Okay,
in
that's
himself is
interesting.
composite, and then obviously in the fact that he has two natures, you could understand that there is such. Sorry, person is simple, and then in the fact that he has two natures, he'll be composite. So I don't think that would be something that would trouble
Can
a
you
Christian.
explain what he means by, you said the person in himself is
Yeah,
composite?
so when we look at the person of Christ before the consideration of the incarnation or the act of the incarnation, we can still talk about Christ as a divine person. And so because he's a divine person, he just has a divine nature. And because he has a divine nature, he's simple. But you also have the fact that by taking on a human nature, that particular nature that he uses is composite. But that doesn't change the actual person himself. You would agree with me that if composition is done here for Christ, either he always had a human nature, so he was always composite, or he became composite when he had one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I would
Yeah,
say
but go ahead. Go ahead.
So I would say to that because the person of Christ didn't always have a human nature, then there has to be a way that he received it. And the way that he was able to receive the human nature was creating it for himself. So the change is only one way. So the simple person creates this humanity and then claims ownership over that. A special
So
kind of ownership.
the simple person creates a composite nature and then becomes composite.
He doesn't become composite because change is one way. So the change is affecting the human nature, the humanity, not him. Unless you say that the human nature somehow edits and modifies the person, which no Christian says at all, and there's no reason for them to say so.
Okay. What about the Trinity? If this is the answer to one aspect of it, what about the Trinity? When the Trinity is also composite, wouldn't you say?
Well, I think composite is where you have aspects about a particular being or existence that isn't the whole. And I think that because the Son isn't part of the existence of God, he fully has the being of God, and so does the Father and Spirit, then we avoid composition there as well. But
But the Trinity is not the Trinity is identical to the three persons of the Trinity, right?
definitionally, sure, when we're parsing
Okay.
it, but when we're talking ontologically, I don't think that the ontic status of the Son, meaning the divine ontic status of the Son, is different from the divine ontic status of the Father. Like when we talk about God's existence, the existence of God that is pertaining to God's being or nature is ubiquitous across the three. It's coextensive across the three. The only difference is that one proceeds from the other.
Yeah,
But that's
but
not a
would you
difference in
say
existence. That's a difference in
okay?
relation.
But would you say, for example, like the Father is identical to the Trinity in the same way that the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit are identical to the Trinity?
I think the reason why people would say no to that is because there's some sort of opacity there. And I think the opacity arises from when we use and invoke the word Trinity. When people use the word Trinity, what they specifically mean is the definitional aspect of the three persons. The same way that what it means for God to be powerful isn't exactly the same thing as what it means for God to be wise, even though ontically you could say they are the same thing, even under divine simplicity. Now, I don't necessarily know your specific Sha'i aspect of divine simplicity. I don't know how far you go. But I know that there are certain people that will say, for example, like the Dr. Khalil Andani, he's a Ismaili. I don't know if you're Ismaili. Are you Ismaili? You're not Ismaili.
No.
Right. So Dr. Khalil would say specifically something like, well, because of the one specifically has these aspects of him that in no way are distinguished whatsoever.
Yeah, that's Neoplaton, sort of like a
He's a
Neoplatonic.
Neoplatonist,
Yeah.
right? But the whole point about being a Neoplatonist is all divine perfections also mean the same thing in God.
Ontologically, that is true, though. Like
Ontologically, they can be the same, but they're also the same semantically.
he says they're the same semantically.
I don't know if Andani says that, but Neoplatonists do, and Andani likes the Neoplatonists. Now, I won't
Okay.
attribute to Dr. Andani that which he has not said publicly, but I don't think that he would be anything like remiss from saying that.
Well, I mean, that would be kind of strange, but just for example, do you think the Trinity is extramental?
The Trinity is extramental.
Yeah.
I think just by extramental you mean does the Trinity exist outside of our minds?
Yes.
But the
Okay,
but the
but
whole
then
okay.
just one second. Then what would be your process in determining if like something that is extramental, determining whether it is composite or whether it is simple? If the Trinity is extramental, okay, now we have something. And we have two categories, composite and simple. How do you now look at something?
Yeah.
For example, even a water bottle. You have the Trinity in a water bottle. You need to determine and put these two in the two groups. How would you do that?
The Trinity in a water bottle.
Like, no,
Well,
you know what I
I
mean?
think
Like,
the
yeah.
thing with water bottles is that they have existence plus essence. So there you go with the water bottle. But with the Trinity, for example, there's no existence plus essence distinction. For at least for Aquinas and even for Eastern theologians like Palamas, Eastern theologians like Gennadius Scholarius and others, when they talk about composition on a metaphysical level, the deepest compositional level you could have is one between essence and existence. But if the
I don't think
essence,
the existence is different from the essence. I think existence is a sifa. It's an attribute.
it can be
Like,
an attribute, but you
yeah.
don't believe that the sifa of existence is different from that of Allah, though, right? Because you believe in
no.
divine simplicity. So for
Right,
us, it
right.
doesn't matter, right? So to get back to that, if there is no distinction between essence and existence for any of the persons of the Trinity, then none of the persons of the Trinity would be metaphysically composite. Now, the only kind of composition that anyone could really talk about is a lexic one, right? Like when you have, the person, when you have, like, you say the terms Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but that's pretty much
And
it.
you would say that one is true of the Trinity,
But
right?
lexic composition isn't necessarily ontic composition.
Yeah, that's true.
And you
Okay.
can have lexic composition for divine simplicity. Like if I just list certain perfections about God, that's not really going to break divine simplicity, is it? Even by your lights, right? If I say
Right. But the
power,
difference.
wisdom, knowledge, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But for you, the difference is that in God, they're ontologically the same thing. Now,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
but when we say ontologically, you just mean they're the same in existence. Yeah, and I think that the existence of the Son and the existence of the Father are the same existence. I just don't think hypostasis is the same. Now, you don't believe in hypostatic distinctions, and I think the only way you could have a distinction in hypostasis is if you had one in relation to the other. You have the whole, knowledge argument of the Father knowing himself, and that self-knowledge being identical substantially and existentially to that which has the self-knowledge, and that could be a way that someone could demonstrate that. But all that's enough for me is I list the different kinds of ways a thing could be composite and see whether any of the three persons matches into that.
Okay. What's the difference between when you say God's wisdom and God's mercy, for example?
Yeah.
They're identical ontologically, they're different semantically, and then
Yeah.
basically you're just saying the same thing about the Son and the Father, that they're different semantically, the same
I don't think they're different
ontologically?
semantically. I think that they're different hypostatically. And I think the reason why is, especially as an Orthodox Christian, all of the perfections that we have about God do flow from God. Now, for Aquinas, the difference is that their flow specifically starts in the created realm. So in creation, these things sort of get captured by the intellect.
Okay, then what about the Father and the Holy Spirit then?
The Father and the Holy Spirit have their processions outside of creation, outside of time. So there's no time where there begins, there's no split or fissure, there's no time or physicality anywhere, right? Now, when it comes to, let's say, I'm talking about the Orthodox perspective, when it comes to the energies of God or the perfections of God, just so that we're on the same wavelength here, those particular perfections proceed from God's substance. But I don't think that the persons proceed from the substance of God, like Meister Eckhart would say, for example. So that's why I think that simplicity is maintained. So the existence and essence of the Father, Son, and Spirit are exactly the same. And because of that, there's no other kind of composition that could be created ontologically or otherwise.
Okay. Now that's all I have. Thank you. Have
Thank
a
you
good
so
one.
much. Really have a good day,
Yeah.
man.
Please.
All right, see you. Hey, nice guy. Nice guy. Mind you, guys, I listen, I want to have the soundboard, but I can't. I'm actually so angry to have the soundboard. All right, let us Evlavon. If you don't have your camera, I'm sorry, I'm gonna ban you because you don't have your. These people don't understand. Like, you don't have your camera, okay? Legend. You have Chris. What up, chat? I don't even know what that means. Crispy. If people are just annoying, I'll just remove them. I think I've built up the ego to be able to do that now. I think I've been able to build up the ego. All right, let's see. I can't believe I can't wish. This is going to be such a dead stream because I don't have all my sounds. How the hell does someone acquire this much knowledge? I don't have knowledge, okay? This idea of me having knowledge is just not true. I'd love to attribute myself as having knowledge and, all of these kinds of things. I just don't have knowledge. I wish I did, but I just don't. No miracles confirm orthodoxy. That's just the truth. Most you have is dripping images in the holy fire. When did the holy fire confirm the papacy is false? Because Mary says it's true in Fatima. Okay? We have miracles all the time. We have valid Eucharist. That is literally one of the greatest miracles of all time. We know you got to be humble, but please drop them sources for the knowledge. Yeah, I can drop the sources, of course. Who in apologetics do you think has knowledge? No one. I don't think anyone has knowledge. Because true knowledge is the contemplation of God. And I don't have knowledge because I don't have that contemplation of God. I try my best. If you want all the sources, head over to the Discord server. Head over to the Discord server and you can get yourself something. But that's just me being honest. I'm sorry if that doesn't satisfy you. Dead River, could you turn on your camera, please? Just want to know who you are. Dead River. The Dead River. Going once. Going twice. And see ya. Sorry. The Legend. Could you turn on your camera, please? I feel like this is someone. Oh my gosh. What is that? Sorry, could you turn your camera on again? What was that? Sorry, could you turn your camera on again, please? Legend, hello. I think he was showing genitalia. That's disgusting. Why was he showing genitalia? What is wrong with him? For the life of me, I can't understand. All right, I'm gonna just remove him. I'm so sorry, man, but you can't. That's disgusting. Okay. You have Crispy here, and let me check TikTok. Okay, none of my stuff is working. I don't understand. Everything is slower. Everything's a bit more sluggish.
Yo, hello?
Hello, Zico.
Zizu. What's up, Jerome? How are you?
I'm not well because none of my stuff is working, and I just had a
Oh,
sneezing headache.
it's unfortunate. Well, I mean, I obviously saw your prompt. I wanted to talk to you about it a little bit.
Okay.
So, obviously, what's up? Sorry.
I said hello.
Oh, hello. Okay. So, I was reading the prompt, and obviously, when you affirm Jesus is God, you're affirming some form of Christian doctrine, and
Yeah.
you obviously affirm the Bible, correct? And like the statements in the Bible.
I like the Bible, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that just a simple argument would be that if Jesus is God, then the statements in the Bible would be true. There are statements in the Bible that are verifiably false, and therefore I don't think Jesus is God based off of that. Do you think that is valid? And you just want to attack the silence of it?
Well, let's do it ourselves.
Okay.
Okay. Repeat your premises, my friend.
Okay, so premise one, if Jesus is God, then all statements of the Bible would be true. Or if you want to tweak it a little bit, at least most statements of the Bible regarding theology would be true.
Would be true.
Most statements, yeah, would be true. Like,
Okay.
okay, and the statements in the Bible are not true.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, Jesus is not God.
When you say they're not true, what do you mean?
I mean, they just don't correspond to reality or are not consistent with the reality that we are in.
Oh wow, that they're incorrect.
Yeah.
Okay. And the statements in the Bible is according to the confessions or like a first glance reading of the text?
What do you mean by confessions?
So, like, you have confessions, like Christian confessions or even Jewish confessions that will interpret texts in a particular way, like the way that I'm interpreting your words right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I'm beholden to those. I'm beholden
I
to the
mean,
fullness of that divine revelation. So
yeah.
the Bible's part of that, but I think there's other things too.
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly what theologians say on the statements, but I'm just giving you my interpretations of the
Okay.
words in the biblical verses. So,
Sure.
if you look at the Gospel of Matthew in chapter 24, are you familiar with the verse there?
No, I'm not familiar with
Okay.
Matthew 24.
Well, okay. So in Matthew 24, Jesus is kind of giving them a prophecy of the end times, right?
Yeah.
And he basically explains to them that during the end times, things that will happen, such as the moon will not give light, the stars will fall, all of that, right?
But
But
at
he
that day
also
and
says,
hour.
yeah. So he also says something peculiar, and he says that the generation that they're in, or the generation of Pharisees, will not pass away and die unless like these signs come to
Mhm.
pass. And because of that, I think that's obviously synthetically, like, you can verify that to be false, given that the Pharisees have died and these prophecies have not happened yet.
So it
Yeah,
says
sorry for the
here.
long talk.
So that's one of the contradictions that you want to present?
Yeah, that's the main one I want to present to you.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. So I look at this particular passage as well, and a lot of people have had their sort of day in the sun with this one. And the reason
Okay.
why is because of the phrase "this generation," Yenea, correct?
Yeah, I say this generation will by no means pass.
Yeah, by no means will pass away until all of these things are fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you ever thought that it may be the case that by this generation, he's just simply meaning a sign of the times generally? Like, for example, if I say what's going on with this generation, I could be just referring to an entire millennium. Like, we've
An
referred to
entire
millennium.
millennium?
Well, we've referred to millennia before as like entire generations. We've referred to them as days or eons, for example.
Not necessarily. No, I feel like the word generation or has a very like semantical entailment. It's not really just saying that like it could be like referring to thousands of years of people. Usually, it's talking about the
Yeah, usually, but remember, we're talking about whether it's almost exclusively only referring to like a 20 or a 40 or 60-year period. Well, obviously not.
Okay. Well, I mean, do you have evidence like that regards this interpretation? Maybe a lot of like the older philosophical backing, because when we look at the definition of generation, right?
Yeah.
Like a generation, like this different like definition, it usually refers to something along the lines of a group of people born or living around the same time.
Mhm.
Also like this is the Merriam-Webster definition. It just
Wait,
it seems like very
Merriam-Webster. Whoa, what?
yeah. So I'm looking at the Merriam-Webster definition. So
You
a group. Sorry, my bad for cutting you off. I didn't mean to.
No, I don't mean to cut you off, but we're not we're talking about a specific Greek term, genea, right? Like we're not talking about this particular ranking of people in Merriam-Webster. The term just means an age. Okay, if you look at Thayer's lexicon, for example, it's just a period of time. Now, that time is ordinarily occupied by the space of around 30 to 33 years. Like Herodotus does the same thing. Heraclitus
One
does
more
the
time?
same thing. Yeah, the word. But it can also just mean a particular period of time that's longer. For example, I could say the patristic generation.
Yeah.
Right, but the patristic generation is 700 years.
Okay. Well, if you look at I'm guessing based on the term or like the way they're applying it,
Yeah.
usually when you talk about a generation, even spanning across a long period of time, there's some form of event or some form of thing that defines this generation, correct? So, for example,
Yeah. It's like
like I don't know,
wickedness,
like
perverseness,
this like
evil.
it's not even like that. I'm talking about, for example, like the medieval ages, for example. Let's just replace it medieval generation for
Oh,
the sake
as
of the
in,
argument, right?
I mean,
Yeah, there's something like the point that I'm trying to make is there's a fact in it that allows it to define this generation. It's its own specific generation, like be it the technology that they had during this time until like for example the Renaissance, and then like they obviously shifted and that it's no
but
longer
you
the
can
Middle
see
Ages.
how those generations have specific demarcations that are longer than that period of time. So I could say, for example, very clearly that we have like the Second Temple generation is just referring to the time that the Second Temple was established. But I could also say the post-Christian generation or the generation of grace, which just refers to from Christ until the end of time. No one has a problem with this. So
Okay.
to say generation specifically means only this one. And also we know that this generation specifically can just refer to the people that will actually have these kinds of ways of thinking until these things take place. And people still have those ways of thinking today, right? No one's changed. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed
Okay.
for 2,000 years.
I mean, if that's the case, and people like would like think that a lot, and obviously I think that a part of Christianity or an expectation of Christianity is that humanity will be saved in some way, shape, or form. Doesn't it seem like people would have those thoughts like ubiquitously across all times? So there would be no need of relevance to specify this generation. I feel like it would kind of be redundant to use that kind of term,
No, I
right?
think, no, because sometimes when we talk about this generation, we say like just a general group of people. Sometimes it's not redundant because there are certain linguistic techniques that Greeks use and Latins use. They like to repeat things over and over for emphasis,
Yeah.
or they like to specify things for emphasis, or take a focalization and then use that focalization to refer to an entire group of people. For example, sometimes we use Israel as one person, but what we really mean is the entire nation. So Israel, he, in singular, does this. Or from among your Israel, one singular brothers. But we know that we're referring to the actual people there.
That's
So,
fine. I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to
so
cut
I
you off.
think this can also be done across time.
Okay. So a few things. So about that, what you brought up, um, the emphasis, all of that, there's still like functions of it, and that's why it's still not redundant. Like you said, oh, it's like to emphasize this, it's to do this. These are all things that negate the idea of it being redundant. There has to be something there for a function. Even the stuff that you talked about, that's more so like how the semantics are kind of worded. But here it seems like it's for one, it doesn't appear that way, and two, the translations, most of the translations, say something along those lines with this specification. So it seems like
It just says this generation. It doesn't like
Yeah.
this generation refers to the generation that will see these things happen.
Yeah. But
So
my point is that
EFT just means this particular age.
Yeah.
Because
But
Genya
my
doesn't
point,
mean this group of people. It just means this age. Well,
all right. My point is that
Mhm.
when the experts, or like the translators or the confessions, um,
Yeah.
translated this, they decided to use those specific terms. So it kind of implies that if it can be referring to those things, there would be like an expectation
What
that they would
things?
use those
As
things.
in
Like
generations?
age, like you said, age, time. If that's what they meant by it, or it can be that,
Yeah.
there would be some sort of expectation they would try to relate to us in that manner. But given that they relate us in that other manner, it seems like the confessions are
Well, the
looking
confessions
towards another.
themselves write in Greek anyway. We just use Genya to refer to generation 2. But by generation, usually we just mean an age or a passage of time.
Because
Nothing
the way I
else.
understood it, like when I read the like a bit of analysis of this, it just seems like to be referring to the generation of Pharisees, and I thought that's more
A
consistent,
lot
right?
of a lot of people have referred to that as the generation of Pharisees, but the Pharisees themselves aren't mentioned here. They're not mentioned in the discourse for the fig tree.
But he is talking to the Pharisees and the disciples, correct?
He's not. Where is he talking to the to the Pharisees?
Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came up to him to show him the temple.
Yeah, the
And Jesus,
disciples did, but he didn't talk about the Pharisees.
he's
He
talking
doesn't
to
talk
his
to the Pharisees. He's talking
disciples,
to the
right?
disciples. True.
Yeah.
And he's talking about what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age. Now, you can go back to verse 3 and you can see the text that is used in verse 3 as well, and you can make your own conclusions of that as well.
Yeah.
Now, of course, when Jesus then comes back, they think, is it the time for them to restore the kingdom? And then Jesus, again, narratologically just says no. So we can look at, here you go. Where is it here? Matthew 24, verse 3. I'm just looking at the text here for you so that you can pull it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look here, right, it
Of the
specifically
age.
is, the age, right? Aeonos. But as you can see, this has an overlap with Genya. And so when Jesus is referring to the generation, he's referring to this period of time that he's answering for the disciples because they asked him to talk about it in verse 3.
Yeah.
So I think it stands to reason that he's just referring to this like long period of time. And you can have people that metaphorically refer to a particular race of men or a multitude of men that live at the same time. For example, Pasea right? In Luke 1:48, where it says all generations, so successive groups of people will call me blessed.
Yeah.
Right? In Luke. But it just refers to an age of time, which is the time ordinarily occupied by each successive generation. And some people say it's 30, 33 years, but Jesus just refers to this as a general group of people that will see these things come to pass. He doesn't actually restrict or this down to like just few people.
Just a few things. I don't like take up too much time. I feel like we're gonna go in circles like with the semantics, but I want to respond to what you said.
Okay.
My bad for like putting you off a little bit, but doesn't you bringing up age, like the term age, kind of make it worse for you a little bit? Because
No.
if it's the case, hold on, I'll explain. When it says age, or like when is the age coming to an end, and they're talking about it there, and that's what they're referring to, wouldn't it be weird to then say that, oh, the age will not pass until these events happen? It's kind of like saying that, oh,
So-
like they're asking the signs of the age is going to end, but he's saying the age is not going to end when these signs are happening.
Well,
It
no.
seems like it's kind of counterintuitive there, right?
No, because if the term has semantic overlap, only if the term doesn't have semantic overlap, but it does. So because it has semantic overlap, Jesus Christ can just use this word, and there's an overlap where they both mean the same thing. He doesn't have to say, aeon all the time, right? Sometimes he refers to the end of the age as just a day, but obviously he doesn't mean like a literal physical day. It just means a period of time that
I-
it's
I'm-
just gonna
I'm-
complete. So
I don't disagree with that.
it's the same thing here. Like there's no worse or better making. It just seems that this other piece of evidence allows me to say this. But you also have the same way that we have with like John Chrysostom and his with his commentary as well. He has sort of a similar way of going around things. He says that people try to calumniate Christ because of this. So it doesn't seem to be anything that no one's like dealt with before.
I mean, I'm aware, obviously, Christians have probably tried to respond to this or give their interpretations of this.
No, it's we don't give responses until people raise objections. Because, for example, like if someone says, like most of the parables of Christ are fine, right? But then if you have a calumniator that comes through and says, oh, like we dispute this, then you will say, well, nobody read it that way. This is how we read it the whole time. So John Chrysostom is responding in that particular vector, and no one has an issue there. So I don't understand why there would have to be an issue now. Remember, you have to say that this is false, not just that you find it hard to believe.
No, I'm aware. I'm aware. Like this is false. I mean, obviously, like, what we're talking about, like hard to believe, is like the manner of the semantics, because we're saying that if my interpretation is true, obviously, then the statement would be false, and if your interpretation is true, then
It's
the
fine.
statement is fine. Yeah, but I'm saying that when we look at like the statement itself, I'm saying that your interpretation is hard to believe, but obviously, like my interpretation is more to believe in. Because of that, it leads to the falsity that we were talking about earlier. But
Well, I think that your interpretation is also hard to believe because by generation
that's
you
fine.
specifically mean the group of Pharisees. And I think many people didn't refer to the group of Pharisees as the particular generation. I think it would be even more likely for people to refer to the actual apostles, which is where we actually get this claim from. A lot of people
Well,
refer
if
to this
it's
as the generation of apostles, but not specifically like, oh, well, he's talking about all the Pharisees and the Pharisees died
yeah,
and these kinds of things. But I think the reason why we have that change is, as you can see in Second Thessalonians, where people are like, oh, well, the end of the world is not happening. And Paul's like, no, we still have to expect it. We still have to act as though it's the case because that's how Christ has put it for us so that we don't let up.
yeah.
So it doesn't
Well, I
necessarily
mean,
change anything.
if you're talking about the generation of disciples, then, or you translate it to that, doesn't the problem still exist? Unless if I'm misunderstanding the second part about the second.
The problem exists regardless if you restrict it to a specific group of
To
people that have already
generation, yeah,
died.
you're right.
The whole point
But
is that
obviously,
there's a
for
group of
the
people that have already died, and Jesus Christ, when he says generation, is referring to the group of people that already died. That's what the actual argument is.
well, I think for a generation to end, like the entire group, like has to kind of die, right? Like the entire like they can't be the dominant people in like
But
that
the
society
point,
anymore.
so again, right? Remember, the argument rests not just in the fact that that group generation dies, but that group of people dies, but
Yeah,
specifically that there's a restricted group of people. Because there's
Mhm.
people dying right now, and my
Yeah,
interpretation would be
obviously,
fine. Right. So you need a definitive list of people that are supposed to die. Like there's an Islamic argument. I
not
don't know if
necessarily.
there's an Islamic. Are you Muslim? I don't think you're Muslim.
Yeah, I'm Muslim. Yeah,
So
I'm
as a
Sunni.
Muslim, right, there are some people that there's a hadith, and I don't want to cite it because I don't want to be inaccurate about it, where he says that there are people in this particular house of prayer, and all of them are supposed to die at a particular point in time,
Yeah,
right? And
I'm
then some
familiar with that.
people, yeah, and some people like sift through it and they try to find that contradiction, and
Uh,
there's kinds of ways
yeah,
that people respond to it and whatever the case. But here is just a similar way. It's just a similar way that people are
yeah.
saying is the same. So
I know it's like a similar like paradigm when people talk about it in that way. Just before like a lot of people are saying like they want Apollo up. Apollo's a pretty known debater, and like I feel like
he's a known
um
debater.
yeah, like people do know him. Like a lot of like you've seen your TikTok comments, a lot of people are
These
asking for him up.
people, right? These people keep coming for me, and this is the
I
issue.
know. It's
Look,
fine. I just want to talk to you.
I
I'm not gonna
appreciate the
take it too.
conversations, but
Yeah,
here's
of
the
course, of
thing.
course. Yeah,
Here's the thing, okay? The more these people talk to me, the bigger I get.
yeah, it's fine. Like it's better for you. Just people want to talk to you.
It's not even that
But
it's better for me, is that I don't want that to happen because I don't want to
uh,
grow too quickly. I like my
it's fine.
community being small and we grow slowly, and by
It's
growing
fine.
slowly, then we all, you know what I'm saying? We all have
Yeah.
unity, you know, the strength and unity.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you're like one of the better debaters I've talked like on Christianity, like especially
No,
on
no,
in the
I'm
TikTok
not.
scene.
No,
Like,
no, no.
it's fine. I'm not like trying to like butter you up or anything, but
Yeah.
just about like you made some assumption that I kind of disagree with. This idea that for a generation to end or a generation to pass, that
Yeah.
generation
So if you look at
has
this,
to
right,
die.
it says these kinds of things. John Chrysostom says, for example, after this, that they might not straightway return to it again. They say when. He brings to their remembrance the things that have been said, sayingly, verily, verily, I say unto you, this generation won't pass till all things fulfilled. All these things, what things, I pray you? Those about Jerusalem, those about the wars, famines, about the pestilences, the earthquakes, the false Christs, the false prophets, about the sowing of the gospel everywhere, the seditions, the tumults, all other things, which we said were to occur until his coming. How then, one may ask, did he say, this generation? Speaking not of the generation then living, but of that of the believers. For he is wont to distinguish a generation not by times only, which is what you're doing, but by the religious mode of service, the mode of religious service, and practice, as when he says, this is the generation of them that seek the Lord. So obviously we have this import here that generation doesn't simply just mean a particular fixed group of people, but maybe a way of conscious thought, like the Enlightenment era, for example,
Yeah.
right? The Enlightenment generation or the Industrial generation. For what he said above, all these things must come to pass, and again the gospel shall be preached. This he declares, so also all these things shall come to pass, the generation of the faithful shall remain, cut off by none of the things that have been mentioned. For both Jerusalem shall perish, and more part of the Jews shall be destroyed. But over this generation nothing shall prevail, not famine, not pestilence, earthquake, nor the tumults of wars, not false Jesuses,
Yeah.
not false prophets, Stevens, you get the point, or any temptation whatsoever. So I think that's a really good way to conclude this conversation. I really did enjoy
Yeah, sure.
this
Yeah,
sort
of course.
dialogue, so thank you.
If you don't want to give me another contention, it's fine. I can go. But, like, there were just things I wanted to say really quickly. It's just, I mean, actually, it's fine. I feel like I already like responded to it a little bit. With talking about like how it would be kind of redundant, and then we kind of went into it anyway. So yeah, it was a nice conversation, very civil. Like I appreciated it. Like
Thank you very
for having
much.
me.
All right. right.
Yeah. Rise of Pollock because a lot of people want it.
No, I'm going to allow everyone to suffer. You knock on. No, I'm kidding. I don't know who he is. I'm sorry, but I see people gunning for him. Some people are gunning for him. What I'll do is I'm gonna take a bathroom break, and then I'm gonna come back, and then I'll see whether or not I want him to come up, or her, or they. I actually don't know what gender they are, so I probably shouldn't assume that. Sorry, guys. I am going to take a quick break. Thank you for every single person that is live. Appreciate you guys. Let us plod on. Okay. All right, back, guys. Sorry for the time and the wait. You know, sometimes you have to go. And when you go, you go. Is bro peeing or taking a... I'm repeating that now. This isn't halftime. Let's rise, people. Sorry, guys. I'm going to pause the Instagrams. What's the chant saying? Son of Livria and the pride of Aegina. I can say it, but I'd have to read it. Son of Livria and the pride of Aegina. That's all I know. I'm a fraud. I'm messing with you. Okay, we've got a bunch of people. All right. Rise, Apollo Creed. Okay, Apollo, you've had a bunch of people that have asked for your rising. And so, I have risen you. Hello.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
How are you doing, man?
I'm okay, I'm trying my best.
So the prompt talks about Jesus is God. It changed my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, the what's around and... Yeah, of course. I've went around to different panels and launched a particular argument against Christians. Never really heard an adequate response to the argument. It's a three-premise argument.
You haven't heard an argument that convinces you, or you haven't heard an argument
I
that.
haven't heard an adequate response to the argument.
What do you mean by
So,
adequate?
an adequate response would just be a response such that it invalidates the argument or demonstrates why the argument is unsound, respectively.
That's untrue. So they haven't shown you that's untrue.
Unsound, to be very specific. But
unsound is that the premises that they provide in their argument or in your
are not
argument
true.
would be untrue. So yeah, so they
Yeah.
haven't shown that it's untrue.
So, with respect to what the argument is going to be about, it's three-premise arguments. Three-premise argument, which establishes the conclusion that there's a contradiction in the position of Trinitarianism, or more specifically, the idea that Jesus would be God.
Okay.
So, just for qualifiers, I want to ask you just one question. You'd agree that Jesus is the Son, right? Like they're the same thing, right?
I think when people usually use the term Jesus, they're referring to the person of the Son.
Yeah, of course, definitely. So we both agree that Jesus is the Son, so we are the Shakans in that.
I'm just going to be hesitant with the language. I think there's some times where people can, pump in certain ideals or ideas that aren't necessarily.
You're hesitant towards whether or not Jesus is the Son.
Like if you have like an Arian who says that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, or you even have like a Eunomian who says that, Pneumatomachus, who says that Jesus Christ is God, I don't think it's in the same way that I would say that. Even though they would say the same thing.
But we're just talking about the Orthodox way, and there's even like a Christian in the chat with a question mark because they're like saying, what is Sig really saying here? Like, why would he be skeptical or hesitant?
And why would that
towards
matter?
agreeing with this? Well, I'm just curious, right? Because I'm just really
You're
trying to
curious
understand
about
your
the
psychology
person
here.
in chat that's not you or me.
No, I'm curious as to why you're hesitant towards agreeing that Jesus
I'm
is
curious.
the Son.
I'm hesitant to say things that aren't actually what I am trying to say. I say Jesus Christ
so what
is
are you
the
trying
Son.
to say?
I say that Jesus Christ is the Son all the time. But there are times where people can say Jesus Christ is the Son and mean a completely different thing. Let's continue on.
Okay, gotcha.
Cool.
So Jesus is the Son. Yeah, that's fine. No variance, no relevant semantical variance there. That's fine. So we both agree on the claim that Jesus is the Son. So with that being said, the first premise of the argument goes like this. So if something possesses the divine nature, then it is omnipotent. You agree with this, right?
If something possesses the divine nature, it's omnipotent.
Yep.
Okay. Give me a sec.
That's yes?
Hold on. I want to hear this out. If something...
Okay, sure. So I'm just trying to understand if you express agreement or disagreement towards the first premise. Should I have to prove it or not?
Well, I'd rather hear out the entirety of the argument rather than just go like that. And then we can go premise by premise. If something
okay,
possesses...
gotcha. Cool. We can do that then.
Sorry, if something is God, it possesses omnipotence. Is that what you said?
If something possesses the divine nature, then it is omnipotent.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Just
it is
conditional
omnipotent. Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously God is omnipotent for you as well, right?
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Okay.
Premise 2 states if something possesses the human nature, then it is not omnipotent.
If something the human nature, then it is not omnipotent.
Yep.
Why?
Okay, so you question second premise. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to clarify what the word nature means. Nature is just talking about the essential properties of an object, given as defined in the argument, right? So when you're talking about something having a nature, we're talking about an essence, essential properties we ascribe to a given object. Now, with that being said, human nature would just be the essential features of a human. What makes a human, essentially speaking. And so because a human, by definition, is going to either be defined as a rational animal or a part of the Homo sapiens species, then it would be the case that would entail physicality, which is incompatible with omnipotence by definition. If you want the argument for the incompatibility, I could demonstrate that as well. I have arguments for every single claim I'm going to be making this conversation. Sorry.
Okay, so Apollo, do you think a person that has the human nature can have omnipotence as well?
A person that has the human nature can have... You're asking me if they can have omnipotence?
Yes.
They cannot have omnipotence, no.
Why?
Because of the fact that the human nature entails a lack of omnipotence.
Says who?
Well, it's not a matter of who says this, it's a matter of what is demanded given the facts of metaphysics and logic respectively.
Okay, so being a human being, like, if I'm a Christian, and this critique is internal, correct?
Yes, of course. It's an internal
Okay, so
criticism and so forth.
I,
It establishes a
I believe that
contradiction.
there are saints that receive the properties of God by grace. So
Okay.
I think that one of the properties that person can receive would be omnipotence by grace. I don't think that they're naturally omnipotent. I think they're omnipotent by participation. And they have the ability to do things that don't logically contradict. So they can't become God because
Well,
that's
I'm
a
asking you
contradiction.
currently simply, like, you'd agree that the human entails physicality, right? Like, if you're human, you're a physical object. Or you possess the characteristic of being physical.
If you're a
right?
human being, you would have some aspects of you that are physical. But
Okay, gotcha.
you're not
Now,
entirely
because of the
physical, though.
fact that, well, I'm not sure what it means to be entirely
So
physical or
remember,
not entirely
we're
physical.
focusing on this omnipotence one, though. So this is your premise.
Yes, of course.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm
do you
focusing
agree
on
with
that
me?
premise as well.
Cool. So do you agree that there could be by my schema anyway, you could have a human being, it's like a saint, for example. He has a human nature, but he also would technically have the property of omnipotence too.
I agree that under your scheme you believe this, but I don't agree with that scheme to begin with. That's what's being rejected by the argument.
But the problem is the argument isn't showing why this can't be the case under my scheme. So
Well,
then
I'm
the
getting
critique is
there,
no
right?
longer
So
internal.
we're disagreeing on these axioms, right?
Okay,
So the idea is
what's
simply
the
that
argument that a human being that that is a saint can't be omnipotent? Could you explain that?
yeah. So because you agreed on the idea that if you're human, you possess at least some physical characteristics,
You
and
agree with the idea
possessing some
that you possess some
physical characteristics if you're a human being. Yes.
Okay, what does this have to do with omnipotence, though?
Because omnipotence is just defined as having maximal causal power, and if you have maximal causal power, then you necessarily be the first cause. But if you possess physical characteristics, then that means you're caused, and so that's
Hold on. So, but
incompatible
by maximal
with
causal
having the
power,
maximal causal power.
by maximal causal power, do you mean that you
Yes.
can do anything that's logically possible? Is that what you
No,
mean?
that definition is going to result in a indefinite number of omnipotent beings. Actually, you're not going to want to agree on that specifically.
So the problem that I have with you is I can have one omnipotent being by nature, and I can have multiple persons that are omnipotent by grace because they receive that from God. My problem with you is you've defined omnipotence as maximal causal power, which I don't know what that means.
So
What's
maximal causal power just means having more causal impact in reality in comparison to all else.
Having more causal impact?
In reality, in comparison to all other objects, yes.
In comparison to all causal objects?
All other objects, I said.
Oh, all other objects. And what's causal impact
Yes.
here?
Mhm.
Just the ability to act
Causal
on another.
impact?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
the ability to manipulate or influence something, yes. Mm-hmm.
So having maximal causal power means having the ability to manipulate and influence other things more than everyone else.
Yes. So, for example,
I don't
if you have a
subscribe to
causal
that
chain,
definition of omnipotence, I don't think.
yeah, under your definition, you're going to have to agree that you are also God, by the way.
Why would I have to agree that I'm God?
So you're not going to want to go under that definition.
Why would I have to agree that
So
I'm God?
is it because your definition of omnipotence is claiming that it is the case that to be omnipotent is to be able to actualize all things which are logically possible, correct? That's your definition, right? As you just said a while ago.
Yes, either by nature or by grace. Now, being God means you possess the divine nature. Now, I don't think that
so the
simply
idea is
someone being omnipotent means that they possess the divine nature. I believe in theosis.
Well, we're not talking about the nature talk. We're talking about the definition of omnipotence, right?
Yeah, but the
We're talking
definition of
specifically about your
omnipotence can be
definition of
ascribed to a
omnipotence.
person either by nature, which is what would make them God.
Yeah, but the ascription
or
talk
by
is about
grace.
something which is the ascription talk is talking about the facts relating to a given thing which could possess the characteristic, not about the definition stuff.
But
so we're talking about the
possessing the
definition
characteristic
so
alone doesn't make you God. You would need to say that being omnipotent specifically by
omnipotence
grace
doesn't make
makes
you
you
God?
God. If you possess
Wait,
it by grace
possessing
and not
omnipotence
by
does not make you
nature,
God?
if you possess by grace.
Wait, hold on. So yes or no? You're saying possessing omnipotence is not sufficient for you to be God, correct?
Depends on the way you possess it. But if you possess it by nature, then yes, you have to be God. Like, for example,
so you're saying
if
that
Jesus
we can
Christ has,
accidentally
so
possess
if Jesus Christ, I don't know what it means to accidentally possess that thing. I believe
you're saying
again
possessed
as an
by
Orthodox
nature or
Christian,
something else.
Well, if you possess something by nature, if you possess omnipotence by nature, yes, it would make you God, because that's one of the properties of the divine nature. But if you have, for example, uncreated glory, and you possess that by grace, that doesn't make you God. And so you can do that with other particular divine properties.
Do you think uncreated glory is exclusive from nature?
I think uncreated divine glory can either be possessed because you have the divine nature. For example, the case of Jesus Christ, where he says, "Glorify me with the glory I once had with you before the world existed."
Okay.
Or you can have someone that receives it derivatively by participation in the person of the Son. Again, this is my schema, not yours.
Okay, cool. So when you're talking about nature specifically, you're just talking about like the essential features of an object, correct?
No, I'm specifically referring to the principle of activity that governs the particular properties that flow from it.
the principle of activity. And what does principle of activity means here?
The principal activity would be the reason by which, or the energeticon of the thing. So if I am a human being and I have properties like having a hand, eyes, legs, and a mouth, that specifically flows from the actual principle of those particular human acts, which is what we call the nature. This is an Aristotelian thing.
And so
this is
it
not-
would be the case. And so it would be the case that under your paradigm, it would be the case that you do not believe that Jesus Christ, or the Son rather, possesses the essential features of being a human, correct? If you do believe in this, then that means you'd be engaged in my semantics. If not,
Wait, what?
then
No,
that
no, no.
means your whole
So
paradigm is
if
irrelevant.
Jesus
here.
Christ even has those particular properties, it will be because he has the principle for those properties, which is a human nature. You can just read Leo. I don't see how I would have to either engage in your
The causal
semantics when you're doing
explanation for having
internal
the essential
critique.
properties.
You need to be
The
engaging
causal
with my
explanation
particular
for
schema.
having the causal explanation for having the essential properties is not relevant to whether or not he has the essential properties in and of itself,
But
which is
having
just what my argument is talking about.
having them in and of itself is one thing, but having them for a specific reason is what is going to demarcate you being God or not. So Jesus Christ is God because not only does he possess those properties, but he possesses them for a specific reason, and he also possesses things that other people can't have, other prerogatives that stem from the way that you possess those natures. So, for example, I could possess, if I somehow become a saint, I could possess some of the energies of God because of theosis, but that wouldn't make me specifically God because my possession of those natures doesn't grant me certain prerogatives just by having them. But Christ having
Okay,
them
so the point
is
I'm making there
afforded those
simply-
prerogatives as well. So what's the point here? Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me? I'm back. What's good? So, anyways, yeah.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
My mic is echoing, so I'm gonna go down, move it right back up right away. Okay?
Okay, we're going to give this another 5 more minutes, and then we'll move you back up. Do not worry. You had to do a quick Google search? That's crazy. There's no way. Oh my gosh. What was that? Yeah, I have to click it a bunch of times, otherwise it doesn't come up. And no, I don't see your name in the invite. In the meantime, I'm going to invite Israelites Scattered Abroad, and then we'll get back to it when I see your name. Yo.
What's good?
Hello.
Yeah, you alright?
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to talk about your prompt. Just to clarify, if you were claiming that Christ was the Most High God.
I think he was.
All right. You able to just kind of show me where you kind of got that from,
Okay.
or what made you think that?
Okay. I'll try my best. I got to get a verse up for you, though. You're going to have to give me some time, no?
All right, appreciate it.
Why don't you think he's the Most High God?
Just the scriptures, and as far as his own admissions, and the gospel saying he's the Son of the Most High.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I see that. Let me see. What do I want to do? Okay. Do you think that the Most High God saves Israel?
Yes.
How does he save Israel?
Various ways.
How?
He can send angels. He sends saviors. He does
Does
his
he
own
personally
thing.
save them?
No, he never leaves his throne.
He never personally saves them. So, for example, Psalm 78:35, when they say they remember that God was their rock and the Most High God specifically was their Redeemer, that's the Most High God personally saving them, correct?
So what do you mean by personally saving from that verse?
Like he's not using an agent. He's actually doing the saving.
So you mean the Most High God is coming down
Yeah.
from...
If you look at verse 35, he slew them, then they sought him, and they returned and sought earnestly for their God. They then remembered that God was their rock and the Most High God their Redeemer.
So you said that was Psalm 78?
Psalm 78, Psalm of Asaph, verse 35.
All right.
Let me just read the super chat real quick. Super chats are said, yearning and learning, Jerome, TMI, black screen, background information, better for your presentation, getting concerned, bro. Is this pattern forming, for example, food, noise, background, etc.? Okay, we will improve all of that, but again, we're not a 100k YouTube channel. We're a 18k YouTube channel. We'll get there, okay? We'll get there, don't worry. All right, continue.
Yeah, so my fault. So I flipped to Psalm 78. So you on what verse?
Psalm 78:35.
Yep.
So, what do you think?
So
We
Psalm
can go to
78,
others,
35.
but we'll entertain this for now. Yeah, Psalm 78, 35.
All right.
Do you
So
want to
that's
read
what I'm
it?
saying. As far as the high God is their redeemer and their rock. So that's what I'm trying to say. So what are you trying to say from this verse?
So, is it true to say that the Most High God actually does the action of redeeming?
So as far as I believe that the Most High allows things to happen, but I'm not saying he's coming down physically and doing it himself.
Allowing sin doesn't make you a sinner. Allowing salvation to happen doesn't make you a savior.
Well, it's the same thing where we saw with Moses. Moses was the one who led the children out of Egypt, but the Most High gave him the power to do that.
The Most High
Right.
is credited with delivering them out of Egypt because the Most High literally led Moses.
Right, but he wasn't like a man that came down from his
Well,
throne.
he was the
to
person that
Egypt.
was in the pillar of cloud. That's what they were following.
Well, that's actually not true. That was the angel of the Lord according to
I
the scriptures.
agree with you, and I think the angel of the Lord also is seen as the Most High God.
So that's what I'm saying. So as far as where do you read that the angel of the Lord is the Most High Yahweh?
Where do I think that the angel of the Lord is Yahweh or
Yeah,
Yahweh?
because obviously I pronounce it Yahweh, but as we know that the Lord in Exodus said that the angel
Sure.
would come with
Let's
his
go
name.
to let's go
He's-
to Isaiah 48.
Yep.
All right.
But you do agree that he said that angel would have his name, correct?
Yeah. Do you think anyone else can have the name of God? Can bear the name of God?
What do you mean by anyone else have bear it? Or
Can have God's name in them?
there's different things that were
Could you
all right.
name
There's
them?
different things that were obviously had the name. There was different.
Could you name them?
Yeah. So there was different. Let me see. Let me go to Exodus. Because you even had the different altars named after him as well. So in Exodus 7:15, I believe it was. Let me just double check. Yep. So Exodus 7:15, and Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nisi. So he named an altar after the Most High. You familiar with that verse?
Yeah, naming something after God isn't the same as God putting your name in you himself. God didn't put his name in the altar, did he? It was Jacob that
Oh, so you're saying someone else was named?
Yeah, someone else called it that
Yeah.
name. It wasn't God that did that.
Can you demonstrate that anyone else had that name?
I don't think anyone else had that name. I think only the angel of the Lord had that name. I hope this is just a super chat quickly. Ali the Angel says, I hope I can accept Christ one day. Please keep up with your content. I like it a lot. Oh, thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. All right, continue.
I only focused on the name because obviously in John 17, when Christ says that he let the people know his father's name, what would you say that the father's name is that he spoke of in John 17?
Why are we going to John 17? And where does he say your name is this?
Because that's what I'm trying to say. As far as when Christ came, he preached about
I'm
the
saying
name of the
that
Father.
Yahweh, I'm saying that Yahweh specifically has his name, and he put that name in this angel. Did anyone have Yahweh's name put in them?
That's what I just said, besides the angel of the Lord.
Besides the angel of the Lord, yeah. Can anyone else have
No.
that?
No.
Okay, so that would make the angel of the Lord unique. It'd make him God.
But that's what I'm trying to say. He's not the same person that gave him that name,
No,
right?
because I don't think
Yeah.
the person of the Son is the same as the person of the Father.
Right. So then, as I was saying, when Christ himself had admitted in John 17 that he came to preach his Father's name, he's Jesus Christ. He's not the Father, right?
Being not the Father doesn't mean that you're no longer the Most High God.
Okay, because what I'm trying to clarify to you, because I think you're missing my point. The name Yahweh, as you pronounce it, is whose name?
The name of anyone that bears it.
So it's not the Father's name. It's anyone who bears it.
It can be the Father's name, which it is, but it can also be any other name for any other person that bears it. So the Son bears that name. So Yahweh is also the name of the Son too.
So that's why I was asking you, can you show an example of where Christ or the Son bears that name?
I think he's the angel of the Lord.
But you said you could demonstrate that he bears that name,
I can
right?
I can demonstrate that Christ is the angel of the Lord, if you'd like me to do that, right? Okay.
But then if you're an angel of the Lord, you're a messenger of the Lord, right?
Okay. If I go to, well, yeah, anyone that can bear the name Yahweh can still send messages from other persons. You can also bring your own message, by the way. You can be your own advocate. I just want to show you this. 1 Corinthians, I don't know if it's 1 Corinthians 10 verse 6 or 1 Corinthians 10 verse... Is it 2 Corinthians 10? Let me see. That rock was Christ. All were baptized in the same stream. Some of them lost it. Ah, here it is. Okay. So, would you like to read 1 Corinthians 10?
First Corinthians 10.
I got it on the screen.
Yep.
You want to read it?
1 Corinthians 10, what verse?
Verse 6.
Now these things were our examples to the intent that we should not lust after evil things, also as they lusted.
And do
1
not become
Corinthians
like...
10 and 6.
And keep reading. Read until verse 10.
Yep. Neither be idolaters, as were some of them, as is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed and fell in one day, 320,000. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents.
Okay, so it says, nor let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted. So they tempted Christ.
So no, he's saying there, neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted.
Tempted who?
So he's giving an example of when the Israelites tempted the Lord.
Well, it says here, nor let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted.
Tempted. But it doesn't say as they tempted Christ. It doesn't say they tempted Christ.
It's implied from here. It's literally implied from here. If I say, do not tempt the king, as some of them also tempted, who am I talking about?
I'm trying to explain it to you that when he says neither let us tempt Christ.
I'm giving you an example, and I will do multiple of these so that you can
give your example and I'll give you mine. That's fine.
Okay. Do not tempt the king, as some of them also tempted. Who did them tempt?
So this is what I was trying to explain what my position is. He's giving them an example of the way that the Israelites tempted God. Don't tempt Christ.
Could you answer my analogy, please? So my analogy says, but the problem is this example only works if we know who was being tempted in the sentence. If you can find me another example, if you can find me another sentence where you keep the words the same, but you just change out Christ for another person's name and have it mean some other person, then show me. But if you can't, then it would be Christ.
But then now I'm glad you said that, because I clarified it there, but I'm glad that you stuck to that point, saying that that was Christ that they tempted in the wilderness, right? So when you said that Christ was the angel of the Lord, was he the angel of the Lord or the Most High?
Well, the angel of the Lord can also be the Most High God in that you have the name. Because the Most High God isn't a name of just simply a person. It is a name that signifies what you are. What the Father is the Most High God.
So when you said they tempted Christ from 1 Corinthians 10, right? Were they tempting the angel or were they tempting the Lord?
Well, would you like to go to the parallel passage?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I need to look at the actual parallel passage myself. It's in Numbers, I believe. Chat, can we get the verse for this brother, please? Can we get the verse for the brother? I believe it's in Numbers, but I don't want to straw man. I believe it's in Numbers. I don't want to straw man. Let's get this going, guys. Let's get this going. 1 Corinthians 10. Where is it? Oh. Ow. I believe it is Numbers 21, I want to say. Let's see. Oh. Here you go. As you can see here, they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom. The soul of the people became very discouraged, and the people spoke against God and against Moses. Why have you brought us out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? There's no food or water. Yeah.
So verse 6, you're reading now?
Yeah. So the Lord sent fiery serpents amongst the people. They bit the people. Many of them died. Therefore, the people came to Moses and said, "We've sinned. We've spoken against the Lord." And it goes on and on.
So did the angel of the Lord send the serpents or the Lord?
It was the Lord that sent the serpents, and it's the Lord that's been tempted.
So if you say Christ is the angel of the Lord, who did they tempt in 1 Corinthians 10?
In 1 Corinthians 10, they tempt Christ, and then it says here that the person that's tempted in the Old Testament is the Lord. Now, I also think the angel of the Lord is Christ as well, but just because it doesn't say angel of the Lord doesn't mean that it's not saying Christ. The whole point here is that the person that's God here is the same as the person that is Christ here in 1 Corinthians.
So you're saying Christ is the Lord that sent the serpents and the angel of the Lord that's leading the children of Israel out of Egypt. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, so I think Christ is the person that gets tempted, and I also think that Christ is the person that leads them out of the tribe of Egypt when he gets sent. So, for example, If you go
Because
to
I just
Isaiah,
because I said I'm just as I said I'm just following your example because
yeah,
you were
if you
adamant
go
in First
to
Corinthians.
but if you
You're,
also go to Isaiah 48, you can see this work as well,
well,
right?
like I said, I just want to stick to this point first, just to
Sure,
clarify your stance.
absolutely, yeah.
So First Corinthians 10, when you said that you were adamant that it was Christ that they tempted, and we came to the verse in Numbers 21 where it was the Lord that sent the serpents.
hmm
You're saying Christ was the Lord and the angel of the Lord at the same time. Is that what you're saying?
I think that when the Lord is used, it doesn't only refer to the Father. There are times where it says God does this or the Lord does this, and it's not referring to just the Father. It can refer to all three persons. Like where it says
I
that God
I
created the heavens and the earth, I think that's not just the Father. I think it's all three persons.
I agree that the Lord's name's used when other people do things on his behalf. I completely agree with you that there is context where that happens. But when we're reading that there is an angel of the Lord that's distinguished in Exodus and Numbers, but then
hmm
here it's the Lord that's sending the serpents, which we know in the Hebrew it's
So
the
what we
as you
know
pronounce
is
Yahweh.
we have this Malach Yahweh, right? We have this particular messenger of God. That's not the
hmm
same as God that sends that particular messenger of God, okay?
hmm
And his name is in him. Now, if we want to look for a New Testament example of a person that has the name of God in him, then we would only conclude with Jesus. There's no other human being that would have this. There's no other human that could actually fit the bill for that.
So when Christians say you do miracles in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit,
hmm
what's the name of the Son according to the New Testament Gospels?
So, according to the New Testament Gospels, that's the one name of God.
No, but when people were asked if they believe in the Son of God, what was the name that they confessed?
The Son of God, they say the Son of the Father, Ios Patros.
No, when you had the disciples preaching, what was
hmm
the name that they preached?
Well, they weren't speaking Hebrew anymore; they were speaking Greek, so they would just use the generic term
Even
of
if you want to
Theos.
say Greek, what was the name that they taught the people to believe in?
Kyrie, just the Lord. Kyrie o
So Jesus
Theosimon.
Christ wasn't a name that they ever taught people to have faith in?
No, they would say if you talk about the person of the Son, or like what do we identify as the person of the Son? Christ, of course. But what
So
you're
like I said,
asking
when we
is the
say
name that they all share. I'm not saying that they all share the name Christ. I'm saying that they all share the name God or Theos.
so when you say you pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, what is the name
Yes.
of the Son? That's all I was asking you. What's the name of the Son?
The personal name of the Son is Christ.
What's the name of the Father?
So the personal name of the Father is Father in regards to the Son. Now, when we talk about personal names here for the person of the Son, we're referring to the Son in his particular incarnational mode. So that's why he has like a pronoun that we refer to like human beings. So
So
he
then
had
there's
like
a
a
name.
market.
So there's a Father name, Christ name, and a Yahweh name. That's what
No,
you're
I'm
saying?
saying specifically, and this is the last thing I'm going to say. I'm saying to you specifically that when it comes
Mhm.
to the person of Christ, the person of Christ can share the specific divine name, like the Tetragrammaton, but he also has a personal name that he receives as a result of his incarnation.
So no one has the name. So there's no specific person with the name the Tetragrammaton.
So some persons can have that by their divine nature. So the Father has that. Okay.
So when Psalms 83:18, when it says that Lord's name alone is Yahweh, according to how you pronounce it, who is that
Yeah.
person with
That's
that name?
referring to the entirety of the Trinity. So alone the name of the Lord, meaning what picks out the divine nature, is Yahweh. Because the term Christ doesn't just pick out the divine nature specifically. It picks out the particular incarnation.
So do you see how I have an issue with Christ saying his father's name was Yahweh, according to how you
No,
pronounce
I
it,
just
but
think that
then
there's
his name?
more things that you need to learn. That's it.
But that's what I'm
And there
saying.
are other Christians.
When I asked you to show me where is someone else called the Tetragrammaton, we
Yeah,
didn't go there.
no
You
one
only
else is
talked
called the
about
Tetragrammaton, but we can have, for example, all those that call me Kyrie Kyrie or Lord Lord, which would be one of the ways that the Tetragrammaton was carried over into the New Testament period, and Christ does say that people call him Lord Lord.
right. But the Tetragrammaton is the name that the Ten Commandments talk about that we can't take in vain. So it
Yes, but
wasn't the
no one's
Lord.
taking them in vain. They're attributing it to Christ, that people that call him Lord Lord and do the will of the Father will go to heaven, which means that if you call him Lord Lord and do his will, you'll go to heaven. I'm going to cut this conversation short, okay?
That's fine, but like I said,
All
just
right.
for future reference, with the name Yahweh as you pronounce it, when we see the Ten Commandments, the name that the Lord says we can't take in vain, I believe that's Yahweh and not the Lord.
Yeah, I
But like I
think that
said,
can be
I
Yahweh, but I
appreciate the
also
conversation.
think that Yahweh is like the person of the Son as well. Anyways, thank
I
you
said
so much.
I look for you to prove that in the future. But thanks for letting me on.
I think I demonstrated it well. Thank you so much.
All
Take
right.
care. All right. We spent way too much time on that. This is why we don't do these kinds of things. Like sometimes you just have to cut it short, man. All right. Is Apollo back? Apollo Creed? I don't know. All right. Hello, Apollo.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hello.
I got bugged out for a moment. You could have just waited for this 1 minute or less, but it's okay.
No, sometimes you have to keep
so
it. You have to keep it plodding on. Because then if
okay,
I'm
that's
just
fine.
waiting
So
for you, like you're not a diva, you know. You
yeah.
have to sometimes plod on.
Okay, so I'll just like finish giving the entire argument, and then you go back to your disagreements. Is that okay? All right, so you can just
I
keep
think
on typing
well,
out the arguments.
well
Yeah.
we have it here. We have basically like a trajectory of where we've come to here. So remember
Okay,
what
cool.
we've come to is if something possesses a human nature is not omnipotent, okay?
Yes, of course.
But you
Yeah,
haven't
so I'm gonna ask you
demonstrated
this
why
question.
by my system a person that possesses the human nature can't have that.
Yes, I'm going to ask you this question. So, do you think can you sig the person who is human be omnipotent? Is that a possibility?
If by a possibility, I mean, in
Like
as much
logical
as
possibility we're talking about.
it's only possible if I somehow attain theosis. So
So
me
I'm asking
right
you
now,
currently, is it
no, it's
logically
not.
possible?
No, like me right now is the kind of thing I have, no. But it is possible if I attain theosis and it's granted to you.
Would you agree that one of the reasons as to why there's not a possibility is in virtue of the fact that you're a physical object?
No, I don't think so, and I don't
Okay,
see why.
so in the argument, when I use the word omnipotence, because remember you're attacking my argument, and my argument is specifically attacking.
your
Wait, before you
argument
interrupt,
is
because
your
you're going to interrupt
argument.
right now.
I know,
I'm
and
just
that's
going to make
fine
one
for
more
you
point.
to interrupt. I never had a problem with you interrupting. This is a
Okay,
conversation.
gotcha. I just want to make one
it's
more
not
point
a
clearly
preempt.
before.
So
Yeah.
the reason
Okay,
why I'm
gotcha, cool.
interrupting is your argument is supposed to be addressing me internally, which you haven't done.
Well, so the argument is attacking the position that Jesus
My
is God.
position.
So that would, yeah,
on
which
Jesus
is your
being
position.
God.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, of
just
course.
the
Yeah. So
position
Jesus being
generally,
God.
because you could go to a social
Huh?
Trinitarian and they have a completely different way. So
Yeah,
you're
but do you
attacking
understand that the
me.
claim?
You're talking to me.
Okay. I understand I'm talking to you. Yes, and I'm
Okay.
saying when I'm talking to you
So
specifically,
address me.
if you hold to the position, yeah, I know what you're saying right now. If you're talking about Jesus being God, and there is some logical entailments from this given claim, right, and it is the point that these logical entailments establishes a contradiction, it would be the case that even if you have an independent paradigm which you believe justifies the position, the fact of the entailments of your position resulted in the contradictory consequence will still be proof against their position being correct.
No, if it's
All else
not
being equal.
internal to my specific system. All you've said, and I can actually say what you've said as follows.
I
but
don't
with
think you
other
know what I
ways.
just said a while ago.
I think what you said a while ago is even if I have a
Mhm.
separate schema that accounts for this, if you can present an argument that demonstrates the fact that those that hold the particular position, i.e. the propositions themselves, is to
Wrong.
be false, then
That's
that would mean
incorrect.
that there is no way that that would actually
Wait,
have
that's an
occurred
incorrect
against
recollection of what I
me.
said, actually. That's
Sorry?
incorrect. What I
Sorry?
said, that's incorrect. That's an incorrect recollection.
How
of
is
what
it?
I
How
said.
is
What I
it
said
incorrect
specific-
in reduction? Go
I'm
on.
about to explain. I'm about to explain why it's an
Go
incorrect interpretation. So what I said specifically is,
Mhm.
if you have a position
If you have a position,
and there are some entailments from this position,
And
you know
there
what
are
an entailment
entailments.
is?
I know what an entailment
Okay.
is. Something that
Okay,
flows
so
from
if
that.
these entailments
I
result
don't know.
in
Wait,
a
wait. I don't understand why you
contradiction-
asked me if I know what an entailment is. I don't understand.
Well, I'm just trying to clarify.
What's the, wait, sorry. What's
because
the
it seems
evidence
if
that
you're
I don't
lost
know
in
what an
yourselves.
entailment is? I don't understand.
I never made the claim that you don't know what an entailment is.
No,
I
but
asked
so
you,
then
do
that
know
means
what
you
it
asked the
is?
question for no reason. I'm not saying that you had to make the
That
claim.
doesn't mean that
I'm
does-
saying
that
no,
doesn't
no.
mean that
I'm
ask the
saying
question for no
specifically. I'm
reason.
saying
I'm just
specifically that
asking
in
for
order for you to
clarification
ask a question,
purposes.
you're going to ask a question because you believe that there needs to be reason for that question to be asked.
No,
You don't ask questions
that's
for no reason.
incorrect.
So you
I
ask
asked
questions for no reason.
Incorrect. So
So
I
you
asked the
ask
question
questions
because
for a
I wanted
reason.
to
So what
confirm
was the reason
you're
why you
going
needed
off
to
to the
confirm that? What's the reason why?
Because of the fact that you incorrectly interpreted my position originally. That's the
I
reason.
didn't incorrectly interpret it. That's exactly
Yes,
what
you
we're
did.
disputing right now.
Because what
And
you
you still
said
need to
specifically
prove that.
originally,
Demonstrate it. Let's
you're
go.
panicking. You're panicking
This
right
is
now.
me panicking
So what you
just
said
because I'm
originally, yes,
speaking
of course.
more. This is panicking, yes?
No, because you're speaking and interrupting because you know
Because
you're
I'm speaking and
right now.
interrupting the
So what
same way
you
that I've been
originally
speaking and
said-
interrupting you the entire time.
Here's
This is
what
sad.
you
Continue.
said in the conversation.
Yeah.
About my position.
Mm-hmm.
You made the
See
claim
how you're speaking
that
even
when I
louder now?
talked
This is
about
panicking. This is you
I'm
panicking.
speaking
You have to calm
louder
down.
because I'm
Because
basically
you need to
pointing
calm
out
down.
that
Because you need to
your
calm
rhetoric
down.
is
It's
childish.
okay.
I'm
You got to
using
calm
your
down.
childish rhetoric, and now you're trying to use tone police theatrics because
Childish
you listen to
rhetoric.
that.
I didn't tone police
Tone
you.
police
You were the
theatrics.
same person that was saying that I
Really,
was
look at you.
interrupting and speaking
You're
louder.
gonna look back on this
Look at me.
conversation.
This
a
is
year
what
from
you're
now
doing.
and realize
You're
how much you're
actually
embarrassing
tone
yourself right
policing.
now.
This is insane.
I'm tone policing.
Continue.
Really wonderful. So I'm telling
Wonderful.
you,
There was
right,
nothing
before
wonderful
you,
there. Continue.
actually was sarcasm, by the way, but nice expired milk rhetorical tactic. Right?
Yeah, that's the reason
So-
why I mentioned. Of
And
course,
you're
it's
doing the
sarcasm,
thing.
but it's
These
just phatic-
low tier
it's just
Jedi
phatic
mind
speech.
tricks. These low tier Jedi mind tricks. It's not gonna work. Okay,
Low
just calm
tier
down.
mind tricks. I don't
So
know where you
I'm
got that
telling
from.
you
gotta
right
focus
now,
here.
just relax. Pipe down.
I'm very much relaxed, and now you're telling me to pipe
I don't
down.
think
Fantastic.
you are. You're actually doing the thing where you're interrupting again.
Doing
So
the
what
thing.
you
I've
claim
been interrupting you
specifically-
the entire time.
Look at you,
So I've
look
been
at you.
calm the entire time because I
Look
haven't
at you.
changed.
Are you okay? Okay, wonderful.
Absolutely.
So I'm telling you
I
right
appreciate you
now.
asking whether or not I'm okay.
I
but yes, I'm
appreciate
fine.
your
I'd
compliments
like you
as
to
well.
continue. Thank
So
you.
I would like, yeah, but you have to go, like, relax for a second. So
I'm relaxed.
telling you right now,
Continue.
that as it relates to what you claimed, my position is, you said that my interpretation of demonstrating successfully whether or not there's a logical contradiction in your position is going to be something which is sufficiently met on the basis of if it is the case
Sufficiently
that other
what?
people
Sufficiently met.
sufficiently met on the
Okay.
basis that if other people hold to that position which has a different schema from yours, if
Yeah.
I disprove those people's positions, then I've also successfully disproven your position. That's not what I claimed. What I said specifically, and
No,
this is
it's
the
saying that
exact
it has a
reason.
specific
This we
force
can
on
roll
it.
back the clip afterwards. It's gonna look awkward for you.
We
about
have
so
the
what he
clip
says,
rolled back. I can. Do
we
you want
have
me to
the
do it
clip.
now? Here, let me do it now.
We can do it after the conversation.
No, I'm gonna do it now.
Okay, since you want to run over to the meta, we can do it right now.
We're not doing
We're
the
gonna
meta.
list what you
I
actually
want
said.
to do it now.
This is clear meta, actually.
This is not
Let's
meta.
hear
This
what you
is
actually
me authenticating your claim. Okay, so let's go back. I don't know
I'm
what's
gonna ask you
created
this
why
question.
by my system. A person
I
that
find it
possesses
funny
the
how
human
much
nature
you're
can't have that.
Yes, I'm gonna ask you this question. So,
My
hold on,
system. I need to know if you're speaking. Okay, you're not speaking. Okay. Person that possesses the human nature can't have that.
Yes, I'm gonna ask you this question. So, do you think can you sig the person who is
No.
human be omnipotent? Is that a possibility?
If by a possibility, I mean, in
Like
as much
logical
as
possibility we're talking about.
it's only possible if I
Someone
somehow
said
attain
greatest debater of all
theosis.
time versus glasses.
Hey, I need you to be quiet so that we can play the video, please. Okay? Thank you. I'm
We
gonna
can't-
mute you so that I can play the video. Otherwise, I'll move you down, play the video, then I can just bring you back up. So
So I'm
me
asking
right
you
now,
currently, is it
no, it's
logically
not.
possible?
No, like me right now is the kind of thing I have no. But it is possible if I attain theosis and it's granted to you.
Would you agree that one of the reasons as to why there's not a possibility is in virtue of the fact that you're a physical object?
Hold on. And I don't
And
want you to. The reason
Okay,
why I'm
gotcha.
interrupting is your argument is supposed to be addressing me internally, which you haven't done. So the argument's supposed to address me internally. Okay.
well, so the argument is attacking the position that
The argument is attacking the position.
Jesus
My
is God.
position.
So that would,
My position.
yeah,
and
which
Jesus
is your
being
position,
God.
yeah.
Not
Yeah, of
just
course,
the
yeah. So
position
Jesus being
generally,
God.
because not just the position generally. You could go to a social trinitarian, they have a completely different way. So
Yeah,
you're
but do you
attacking
understand that the
me.
claim-
You're talking to me.
Okay. I understand I'm talking to you. Yes, and I'm
Okay.
saying when I'm talking to you
So
specifically.
address me.
If you hold to the position, yeah, I know what you're saying right now. If you're talking about Jesus being God,
If you're talking about Jesus being God, and I'm going to slow you down just so that everyone can catch it.
and there is some logical entailments from this
And there are some logical entailments from this position.
given claim, right? And it is the point that these logical entailments establishes a contradiction. It would be the case that even if you have an independent paradigm which you believe justifies the position,
So even if I have independent paradigm that justifies the position, which would mean that there isn't a contradiction here, which is why I made the specific claim that this would be addressing others, like I said here.
the fact of the entailments of a position resulted in the contradictory consequence will still be proof against
The actual argument that shows the contradiction would still be proof against me. So the point is, you're making the statement generally and then attacking this particular thing and showing there's a contradiction here, even if I have a separate paradigm. And that's why I said that this is responding to others and not me. So yes, I got your position.
You don't understand.
Now you want to continue.
So actually, yeah. So you don't understand it. So if you have a given
I'm
claim,
not
let's say we're
understanding.
just talking.
Jeez, man.
You're not, definitely not. So the independent paradigm talk is not supposed to be eliminating the contradiction. I'll explain why. So we're gonna do this in like prop logic, basically. So if you have a claim,
Oh
let's just talk
my
about the variable P,
goodness,
for
the
example.
rhetoric.
I don't know where you're just from. Look at you, man. So I'm
Look at
saying
me.
right
Okay,
now
okay,
that
look,
as you
look,
talk
we
about,
need to
as you
get back
talk
to
about-
this. We need to get back to this because we're gonna
yeah,
get
we're gonna
lost
get
in
back
the
to the
source.
substance.
Okay,
You're
so
getting lost
do you
in the
want to
sauce,
go?
not
Do you
me,
want to go
right?
back to this, which is the actual point? So you're specifically
So you're gonna run away
saying
from the points. You're gonna run away from the
no
points.
one's running
Logical.
from the point. This is to make
Yes,
sure
you
that we're
did.
not going to
You're-
insult each other. So here's the thing: you need
Why
to
would you
show
insult
me
me?
that based on
Are you
my
losing your
schema.
confidence?
No. The only time I insult someone is if they insult me. So I haven't done
But
that.
I haven't insulted you
So-
yet, so I don't think there's a motivation.
Well,
for
you
it
have,
to be
you
the
have.
same
So
thing.
here's the thing, and I'm holding off on that because I'm trying to be good faith. Here's the thing: you're trying to say that a human being under my lights can't possess omnipotence because you're addressing me internally,
Yes.
correct? Okay, so why, according
Given
to
how
me-
you would interpret a human being, that would not be the case, yeah. Because by omnipotence, all we're talking about here is just the maximal causal power, meaning that you have more power than all other
that's
things
what
in the
you're
universe.
talking about. But I'm defining omnipotence as the ability to do all particular logically possible things.
Okay, so by ability there, what's the modal scope or modal epistemology?
The modal epistemology. I mean, I think that
You don't
I'm
know
just
what it
referring.
is?
No, I just think that I'm referring to logical modality. But I don't
Wait,
understand
okay,
why
logical
you're.
modality.
I don't understand why you're trying to use
Sig,
terms like modal
the
scope.
reason-
Why would you do that? You could just ask me
That's
what
how
kind of
that's how
possibility.
philosophers talks about it.
Some academics. You're not an
Most
academic, are you?
philosophers.
Are you an academic?
Most philosophers.
And most
I'm
philosophers
above
are academics. You're
I'm
an academic.
far above academics.
No,
I'm
no.
far
Are you?
above
Oh, are you an
academics.
academic?
Yes.
Okay. What are your credentials?
My credentials?
Yes.
I have a PhD in TikTok debating.
Okay. Yeah. You won, right? You got
So,
a PhD
let's
in
get back
TikTok
to the
debate.
point.
No. That is embarrassing. I'll ask you why you're using academic register, and then you then say, "Oh, that's how philosophers are." I said, "Are you them?" You then say, "No, I'm better than them." I said, "Okay, what's your credentials?" You say, "I got a PhD in TikTok debating." You're doing well. Genuinely, you're doing well. I appreciate you. Wow. What the heck? I got a PhD in TikTok debating. That's funny. No, but I'm not going to take you seriously, man. The fact that everyone tried to gas you up as well, I'm not taking you seriously. I'm sorry. I'm not about to take you seriously. I'm so sorry. I do emphatically apologize. PhD in TikTok debates? No. Not doing it, bro. Like, yo. Hey. That is embarrassing. I'm so sorry. But no, because obviously you know that if you don't have their particular credentials, then there's no reason why you would need to invoke this crazy register. I'm going to rise up cold caller, and then we'll see what happens next. Going to nearly hit that 2-hour mark that we speak about. Go on.
Yo, bro, how's it going, man?
It's okay.
Nice, bro. So me, myself, I'm Muslim. My name's Hamza Mohammed. Good to meet you. Can you hear me, yeah?
I can hear you. Sorry, I could just barely make you out.
Yeah, sorry, bro. So yeah, I'm Muslim. I've got an argument against Christianity. I'd like to present that. Jesus being God and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, bro. So my argument would be John 19:30.
John 19:30. Okay. Let's go. John 19:30.
Yeah, and the criteria that I'll be using would be Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 20 to 22.
Okay. John 19:30. John 19:30.
Yeah, bro.
So when Jesus received the sour wine, he said it's finished, and bowing, he said he gave up his spirit.
Yeah, man. So basically my argument is if Jesus is drinking that substance on the cross, he's violated his words based in Luke 22:18. Fulfilling the criteria.
I just want to pause because I feel like chat is going to misunderstand me. Okay, guys, if people want to troll, they can troll. I have no reason to entertain a discussion of a person who's inherently being bad faith. So the reason why I addressed him like that specifically is because he's adopting a register that he's dishonestly using. You could communicate exactly the same information without using that. I do that all the time, by the way. Like, I will communicate certain things and not adopt a certain register because I want them to actually understand what's going on. But the problem is he's adopting a particular register to try and catch me out. And he'll just keep doing it until he thinks he wins something, which, again, is not honest to the conversation. And if he wants to say that he just uses that register because he thinks that's the only way that you can actually express himself by using theory-laden terms, I just don't buy that. All right, continue.
Yeah, thank you, brother. So, as I was saying, yeah, so if the substance that Jesus is drinking, peace be upon him, in John 19:30, if that truly is the substance of Ampello, then unfortunately he's violated his word, fulfilling the criteria set in Deuteronomy chapter 18.
What's the
verse
criteria
20
set in
to
Deuteronomy
20.
18?
Yeah, basically, if Jesus was to make a false statement regarding the future,
Okay,
his punishment would be unalignment.
What's the false statement he made?
Yeah, so the violation occurs in John 19:30, as I just stated, and the statement occurs in Luke 22.
What's the statement that he says that's wrong?
Yeah, Luke 22:18. Sorry, buddy.
Luke 22:18. Okay. I say to you, I won't drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes. Okay.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, so if you want, we could dissect this verse. So first of all, I'd like to ask you, like, the kingdom of God. Okay, so where does this occur? Because we know there's multiple kingdom of gods.
Yeah, some people
Is
use
the
it as
heaven-
let's just say that it's referring to the second coming.
Second coming. Yeah, I'd agree with you, bro. I'd state that according to the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 15,
Okay.
the kingdom of God would occur when the seventh angel blows his trumpet.
Okay. I'm trying to find this.
Yeah, we could dissect this proper, man. We'll get into this because this is
States,
quite
not
serious.
drink now of the fruit of the vine, ambelu, and
Yeah, tell
ambelu
Genomatus tes ampelo.
is
So
is the same in John as well. It's ambelu, or as it says this.
no, so in John, it's a substance called oxos. Now we want to know what oxos is, correct?
Yeah, but oxos isn't ambelos. Ambelos
Okay,
is a
are you
completely
sure?
different thing.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't think in all cases oxos and
No worries,
ambelos are
man.
exactly the same thing.
If you open up the book of Numbers, chapter 6, the Lord Yahweh speaking to Moses, you can check that Greek LXX.
Yeah, no,
copy and
I'm
paste.
saying specifically here. So look. If you go to,
Oh no, don't worry. The Lord Yahweh has already told us what ampelo is, but no worries.
we can just go. We could just look at the words and see what they mean. Okay, we could just go John 19:30 and look what that means. Here, he receives this drink, right?
Yeah, so here Jesus is drinking a substance called oxos in the Greek language.
Yeah, but it seems to just mean like sort of like vinegar.
Yeah, and we want to know what this substance actually is, where it's produced.
The substance is vinegar.
Because you would agree, vinegar is a produce, correct?
Well, sure, but produces
Amazing.
can sometimes be used as substances. Like we talk
Okay,
about
so
substances
we-
all the time, like
Perfect.
vinegar.
So we want. Sorry, buddy. So we want to understand what produces it, correct?
What produces what? Oxos.
Oxos, yeah.
Well, oxos is a product of both like vinegar and water.
Let's see what the Lord says. The Lord's the best authority. Wouldn't you agree?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Come on, man. Let's roll with it. Don't be scared, man. Come on, let's address it, man. It's a serious topic, brother.
I'm trying to.
All right, man.
All right.
Come on, man.
Okay.
So the Book of Numbers, okay. Or in fact, I'll take you to the Book of Psalms first of all,
Okay.
because Numbers is originally in Hebrew.
Okay.
So if we look in Psalm 69, verse 21,
Yeah.
Jesus is drinking in Hebrew chomes or chomats. Not quite sure how to say that in Hebrew.
Psalm what?
Psalm 69, verse 21.
Okay.
They gave me poison for my food, or
Okay.
meat for my food,
Psalm
poison for my meat, and for my thirst they gave me chomes
Yeah.
to drink.
Psalm 69, verse 21.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me see if someone sent someone. I think.
Hey, we going into a rabbit hole here, brother.
Yeah, we are. But I just
Yeah.
want to get up the super chat that someone sent. Oh, I can't find it. So. But yeah, Jesus says that it's this specific fruit of the vine, no?
Well,
Psalm 69.
your argument, the Christian argument, is Jesus is referring to a singular substance.
Well, he's referring to a specific fruit of the vine.
Well, if we check what Jesus says in Greek, it's to genomatos tes ampelo, which translates to the produce of ampelo, or the grapevine. Okay, this word here.
Genimatos dis ampelo is a phrase, so that
Yes.
specifically just refers to like wine. Like we talk about fruit of the vine all the time. So fruit of the vine just refers to wine.
Sure, we're gonna.
Can you drink?
Can
Can you drink wine?
we? Sure, bro. Can we go to the Book of Numbers? I just
Well,
want
you
to check.
can
this
drink
one.
wine as a Muslim.
Non-alcoholic wine.
Okay, so
Grape
oxos.
juice.
Yeah, but
I could drink grape
isn't,
juice.
oxos isn't necessarily. It's not like alcoholic. So
Let's see if oxos is from ampelo. That's the argument here that you seem to be avoiding.
No, I'm saying that
If
there's two different.
Because because Jesus says he won't drink the produce of ampelo, and oxos is a
No,
produce, and it's a
that's-
produce of something. No. Look,
that's
hey,
not
buddy,
what
look
it's
what
saying. Oh
look
my
what genomatos means, bro.
No,
Look at
Genimatos-
open it up.
Genimatos- I
Hey,
know
go-
what Genimatos means, but Genimatos is
Don't
not
run, man.
referring
Hey,
to
listen. Why don't you
food
want to open up Numbers, bro?
because it's a specific phrase. So
Because you're scared of the Lord's authority, man.
Sure. So
come on.
Genimatos dis ambelus.
Yo, chat, it's Numbers chapter 6, verse 1 to 4. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the Israelites and say unto them, if a man or woman...
Okay, look, you're gonna have to calm down. So
I'm calm,
okay,
sorry,
so
bro.
Genimatos dis ambelu is a specific phrase. We still have it in English. Fruit of the vine is referring to alcohol. It's not going to be the case that you need to take each individual word and parse them out. What you need to do is take the idiom. It's an idiomatic phrase. So fruit
Yeah,
of the
that's
vine
the
refers
claim.
to
That's the
alcohol.
claim.
That's
the
not
claim.
okay. That is the claim, but
that's
that
the
claim
Christian
is also
claim.
true.
No, where is that true? Because the only
Search it
time it's
up.
used in the Old
Search it
Testament...
up for yourself. Where fruit
No.
of the vine is. Bro.
Listen, the only time it's used in the Old Testament is Numbers chapter 6. And the only time it's used in the New Testament is for this. Except when Jesus says that he is the impello and his disciples are the branches and they produce the fruits. So we can't use that as an example because you believe Jesus is the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to Numbers, buddy,
So
because
we
we seem
have
to be
it's
avoiding
in
Numbers.
it's in the triple tradition. It's here. It's
Hey,
in
chat.
Matthew.
I want to know what Ampello is,
Luke
bro.
as well. Ambelos is
Brother.
wine. Ambelos is wine.
No, it's not. That's not what Lord says, brother.
Ambelos is literally a vine grape. It's just a vine grape. And so when you want to look at fruit of the vine, you want to refer to So if
Numbers
you want
chapter 6.
So ambelos is a grapevine, right? But then you have, right, genimatos tis ambelos, which specifically means alcohol. That's why if you look at the 9 times it's used in the New Testament, if apart from the 3 times that we see it as used here, right, those are the 3 times that we care about. If you look at all the other times, it's referring to Christ being someone that you abide in John. And then we look at a vine, specifically the physical vine that produces the berries, i.e. grapes, okay? Clusters from the vines of the earth. They gather the vine of the earth. So there is one sense where ambelos by itself just means a physical vine. And then there's another sense in which we want to refer to alcohol, so we have that phrase. That's
sure,
it.
yeah. Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to say that that's a subject claim. And now I want to see what the scripture says, buddy. You're just telling me, trust me, bros. I want to see what scripture says.
I'm not saying trust me, bro.
Yo, chat, is he serious, bro?
I'm just saying, look.
Is this guy serious? Can we go to Numbers chapter 6, bro? What? This is a subject claim, bro. You can't just do me. Trust me, bro.
You can't shame the
shameless. Ya habibi. Oqsum billahi. Trust me, ya akhi.
You can't shame the shameless. Like, this is crazy. Look, all I'm asking you to do, yeah.
Hey, yo, I'm going to take this as a concession, chat, yeah? I'm going to take this. Hey, buddy.
What? How?
If you don't want to open up Numbers, I'm going to take that as a concession. Jesus Christ is not God. Listen, buddy, it's not looking good, bro.
Wait, if I don't open up the book in the Bible, this means
hey, man, because you're telling me, it means this, it refers to that. Trust me, bro.
I'm not saying trust me, bro. I'm saying look at the verses.
Let's see what the book says, brother.
I'm saying look at the verses.
Numbers. Hey, chat. That's crazy. That's wild, man. Hey, listen, buddy. I think someone's calling me.
Alright.
Hold on, buddy.
Alright.
I've got one more thing to say to you, cold caller. Hello? Good morning. Are you having a good day?
I'm just gonna kick you. Guys are taking phone calls. Guys are taking phone calls. No, man. I can't. Why do I allow this to happen to me, man? We have a guy that tried to say we had a Hebrew Israelite. We had a rhetoric maxer that couldn't show me why I was saying the wrong thing. Then he says he has a TikTok PhD. And then I'm getting flamed for kicking him. There's no shot, bro.
Bro, that dude called it a concession. That's actually the funniest thing ever. Oh my god.
My mind, bro. See my mind. I can't, bro. So we've got PhDs in TikTok debating. We've got Angel of the Lord stuff. And we've got it's a concession because I didn't bring up the Bible. Even though I brought up the Bible.
Yeah, so you didn't bring up Numbers, so therefore you conceded. Right.
This is why I only stream a couple times a week, guys. Someone said you're doing great, lad. Chin up. Chin up. No, that's gotta be rage bait. Anyhow you tell a man chin up, you want him to fling the table. Wow. Okay. Ayo, do we got life back? I don't know what that means. Phone was still ringing and he was acting like he was talking on as well. Yeah, the phone was still ringing. Anyways, I'm sorry, chat, that some discussions just get, cut early. I just think that like certain people try to rhetorize in a false fashion. Like if a philosopher comes up to me and wants to use that, that's fair. That's fair. That's the register that they used to, and they're trying to treat me as though I have the same register. But when you have a guy that's a TikTok debate that's trying to clip farm, you just can't let it run. I'm sorry. You just can't let it run because it's just disingenuous to the convo. If you can communicate the exact same information, by the way, with the exact same import, so not that meaning is lost on me or you, and you choose not to do it, you specifically choose to try to be more complex or more verbose, there's the issue. And I realized that from early myself because I used to be that years ago and then I stopped. But anyways, anything you want to say?
I'm not gonna lie, you should have dropped him when he said, yo, chat.
Yo, chat. As soon as I heard yo, chat, my mind, bro. My mind was nuts. My mind It was crazy, but I had to drop people because this is the reason why people don't address substance or whatever. All right.
Wish.
We're wesh indeed, bro. We're gonna move over to YouTube. So if you want to talk to me, move over to YouTube, please. Move
All right,
over
God
to
bless
YouTube.
you.
Thank you so much. All right. Okay. Move over to YouTube, please. All right. This is a very slow day. It was not a slow day. It's just I'm not entertaining rubbish. Someone laughing about hailing Satan. What do I do? Tell him to call in if he's hailing Satan. Let's see. Clowns will be clowns. It's facts. It's facts. Can I call you Jeremy Macaroni? No, you can't. No, you can't. Turn up the mic for YouTube. Okay, I will. But I don't want it to be too loud because I know my mic will peak. So that's why I try not to. That's why I try not to. I'm trying to click on my TikTok, but it's not working. It's just not working. None scared of numbers. Yes! I'm terrified. All right, let me answer some questions in chat then, whilst people wait, okay? Let's answer some of these questions in the chat. Chat, you can ask your questions. Let's see. Where's the Lulu? I am. What's the argument with number 6? I think he's just trying to say it's a production. I don't entirely understand it myself. Disciple Ellie, reprobation lover. I love reprobation, yes. Okay. Satan guy crashing out. Someone said maths is petrifying. Yes, bro. For those of you that had your GCSEs, dark. Satan is deliberately picking the team that lost. Yes, it's a shame. It's a shame. Let's see. Favorite reformer. I don't have a favorite reformer. Votius. Calculus gives me chills. The produce of Ambeloy is Oxus. That's so weak. Well, it's not weak actually. No, it's a pretty strong argument. Let's be charitable. All right. I have one more person on the TikTok. I really don't want to bring him up. Because I don't know if he's going to show like a thing on screen or something. I'm trying to click on TikTok. I'm going to give him 10 seconds. As soon as I sense bad vibes, I'm kicking it. Hello.
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 What's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I just had a question for your prompt of saying that Jesus is God changed my mind.
Okay.
So I was wondering, to be God, would you say that you have to be all-knowing?
Yeah, I think so.
So in Mark chapter 4, right, when Christ is talking about the mustard seed, and he says that it's the smallest of all seeds on earth, would you say that that's a true or a false statement?
Depends on what he means by of all earth.
Well, yeah, I think that it's very clear what he means of all earth.
What do you think he means?
Well, I mean, when you look at certain lexicons, it talks about like within certain lands that they're sowing it, or you could say it's within like the entirety of the earth, like the planet.
It could, yeah, yeast can be all of the earth, but I think yeast can just mean arable land.
Do you think that that's the smallest thing that they had within the land?
I think that's the smallest thing that they would use in the land, yeah.
Okay, and how would you demonstrate that?
Because I don't think they used seeds that were smaller.
Yeah, but I'm asking, how would you demonstrate that? Like, do you have a source?
Well, one of the sources that we use is the passage itself. And if Christ is claiming that this is the smallest seeds in the arable land, that would mean that it's the seeds that they use for the arable land. But the defeat would be on you to show that there were seeds that he was using that were smaller.
Yeah, I can pull up something. Just give me 1 second.
Seeds that the Israelites at the time were using that were smaller.
Yeah, I got you.
Fair enough. And it depends on the people he's talking to as well. Let me see who he's talking to in Mark 4. Because it wouldn't be the same as saying it like in Brazil, like in Curacao, for example, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, the multitude that's by like a river. So it just have to be around the land that's there. The whole multitude was in the land facing that sea. So it would have to be in that particular region, in the land facing that sea. It couldn't be everywhere else.
But here I have something. So it's called The Jesus Feast by Mary Elizabeth Hess and also Lord
Is
Gordon.
that a patristic writer, or is that just a particular academic?
No, these are like new people. They're like botanists, and they talk. They're like botanists and historians.
Which sorry. What kind of botanists?
I have no idea.
Okay. What's their name?
Well, it's Mary Elizabeth Hess and Lori Gordon, which is LORIGORDON.
Hess?
And they,
like that?
it's HESS.
HESS. Is it
Yeah.
Hasselblad?
Hmm?
Oh, okay. Mary Elizabeth Hess.
Yeah.
She's a Roman Catholic laywoman.
Sorry, what is it?
I don't mean to do genetic fallacies. But if we're trying to talk about what would be the actual seeds that they sowed in the arable region, what data does she use? Could you just bring the data that she uses instead of just quoting her?
Yeah, I mean, I can. If you want, you can pull it up too on your side because I can't like put it on my camera.
Yeah, but you could just tell me. So
Well, it's just called the Jesus Feast. What did Jesus eat?
but this is a random woman that bakes bread in her spare time that's trying to predict what Jesus would have eaten. Right?
Well, I just think given the history, yeah.
Well, what history? Just quote the history. Don't need to quote her.
Well, I'll just see. So, like she says, in the early centuries of the Passover celebration, the only requirement was for each household to slaughter a lamb, sprinkle its blood on its doorsteps with I think it's hyssop branch, roast the lamb, and then continue it that evening after the first temple was built during Solomon's reign.
Okay. So,
Passover.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a pretty long thing.
Does she address the mustard seed stuff here?
What she talks about when you go to like the sections on herbs and spices.
So she thinks
talks
it's
about
artichokes, asparagus, beets, bitter herbs, carrots, celery, fig leaves, leeks, mustard greens, almonds, walnuts, pine nuts, pistachios. These plantable things, I guess. But what?
Well, when you go to herbs and spices, she names the poppy seeds.
Yeah, I can see poppy seeds here, but the problem is you have these as like particular seeds and herbs for these kinds of things. And she's guessing that this is the arable land. What's the data that she uses to get there?
I mean, I think that she's just like going over like because like when you look at like commentary books, like on the Book of Mark,
which commentaries?
Like for example, like William L. Lane's commentary, he has like an entire
patristic writers.
Oh, I don't think she's going off patristics. I think she's just going off modern scholarship.
Okay, then I would dismiss that the same way you would.
Why? Why would I dismiss that?
You would dismiss modern scholarship if it goes against Quran and Sunnah.
Not necessarily. I mean, I think that we would look at the data
if modern scholarship goes against Quran and Sunnah, would you dismiss the modern scholarship?
Well, it depends. If it's demonstrable, no, I wouldn't.
If it's demonstrable, you wouldn't. So, say for example, someone like, I don't know, a new person, Chris, at Speaker's Corner, he's written a book on the Islamic dilemma, and he shows, academia and modern scholarship to assert the fact that the Islamic dilemma is actually a real dilemma that's true. And it's demonstrable. He writes that in his book. Would you say that you would follow that and say that this is true, that the Islamic dilemma is a real dilemma?
Yeah, if it's a real thing, then I'd probably leave Islam if it was actually a demonstrable thing. I'm not just going to reject it.
Well, it's demonstrable because it's in his text, it's in his book. The same way that you haven't actually demonstrated how there are these particular seeds that the Israelites are planting. Is there any actual patristic writers that say that they planted poppy seeds?
Well, I don't know about patristic writers. I don't think that the patristics would write on that.
No, I think that if they actually comment on the parable, then they would actually say the same thing. So I don't understand why you would have that there.
Well, because the patristics and what they do, they kind of go based on like a parabolical thing, and they try and bring it back to the faith. I wouldn't really
also address like
specific. Try and be like want to be like botanists.
They also address specific things as well. Like they will address like contradictions, or they will address particular like substantial, like actual substantial points. But you just bringing up that a modern scholar thinks that poppy seeds were grown around there because of what we see in the region now isn't able to suffice to substantiate that. Because we have seeds that travel through different places all the time. Certain arable lands, for example, poppy seeds that didn't grow in Britain, we then brought them over to Britain during the Opium Crisis and we grew them. Right?
Yeah. So what would you say is the smallest of all seeds in the context he's talking about?
I think the smallest of all seeds in the context that he's talking about is just mustard seeds for the people, and I think that's the smallest that they need. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that they had access to smaller ones,
They
but
haven't demonstrated how they have access to smaller ones. Could you show
well, I
me?
mean,
how they have access
if
to
you
smaller
just
ones?
reject modern scholarship,
Yes,
there's
I
really
reject modern scholarship because it's not a hujjah upon me. I want actual
Okay.
data. Also, modern scholarship rejects modern scholarship. The whole point of being an academic is to reject what everyone says all the time and just bring the data. You haven't. You brought someone's opinion.
Yeah, the same thing with the patristics. I mean, unless you have a consensus.
Patristic evidence is data.
No, but you understand that the patristics are just like personal opinions, so it's like the same thing you're saying.
No, they have more authority
They are.
over the actual historical criteria that would meet for Jesus and these particular people than others. Wait, someone said that you're Roman Catholic. Hold on, what? Are you Roman Catholic?
I'm a Mu'tazilite Muslim.
Are you what?
I'm a Mu'tazilite.
No way. He left. All right, lads, we've reached the 2-hour mark, man. Oh, wow. Did you not see his repost? No. So I don't see anything that anyone does as soon as I come on the app. I don't see anything that anyone does on the app. So I want to say thank you very much to every single person that came through. Thank you so much for the people that came through on live. We will have another reaction sort of stream to other content later on. Not today, but we'll have it generally. We might be live on Monday again, but oh my goodness, I gotta go to work tomorrow, so you have to get ready for stuff. So thank you so much for every single person that came through. We got people live as well. Thank you so much for every single person that came through. We're going to make sure we edit these prompts as well so people can stay on topic. But thank you so much for every single person go through. Someone said, why I got impregnate. I'm not doing it. All right. Thank you so much for every single person that came through. I really do appreciate you guys. Take care on the TikTok. I've already shut it down on the YouTube. And God bless. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, just shut it down on TikTok. That's a great... Bro, I love this live stream, man. This live stream was sick. I really enjoyed it. The amount of concessions we got today, man, I can't begin to describe it.